off game number 1 in a best-of-7 series. The Avalanche have been off for a week. The Wild played on Thursday. Tom Reed's got the starting goaltenders presented by Sherwin-Williams. Big question mark coming into the playoffs, Tom, is an exclamation point for the Minnesota Wild. How good was Jesper Wallstedt against Dallas?
Oh, is he starting?
I'm assuming so.
He is starting. Let me tell you, he's been absolutely great. He's played 6 games. He's won 4 of those 6 games. He's number 8 right now in the goals against average at 2.05, and he's got a save percentage of 90.4. But he's one of those guys also that has met the challenge they've been looking for, and hopefully that will continue with this team right now.
Wallstedt for Minnesota. Who goes for the Avalanche?
They're going to go with Scott Wedgwood, the youngster out of Etobicoke, which is a suburb of Toronto. He played 45 games this year, going 31-6-6, 2.02 goals against average, save percentage of 921. He and his other alternate goaltender, also Mackenzie Blackwood, won the William Jennings Trophy as the fewest goals against in the National Hockey League, 197. And that's not just on the goaltender, that's on the entire team.
Lineup report, I asked you about Danila Yurov stepping into a pretty big moment. How about Damon Hunt back on the blue line, making his postseason debut? What's he up against and trying to lock it down in that third pair?
You know, he played in 32 games this year for Minnesota, and he didn't get the goal, but he had 6 assists, and he's excited. I mean, he comes to work every day. I mean, you look at him, he's always with a smile on his face, and he got on the bus today wearing a shirt and a tie, which is unusual for the players today. But I said to him, "Nice tie," and he just kind of smiled and looked at me. But I think he'll be ready to go. He's got that nervous energy right now, and that's what you want to have.
All right, Tom, enjoy.
Thank you.
Tom Reed at Ball Arena tells us it's Jesper Wallstedt against Scott Wedgwood. The starting goaltenders presented by Sherwin-Williams. Shop the Sherwin-Williams Super Sale and get 30% off select paints and stains May 1st through the 11th. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See stores for details. Of the lineup report, you know the Swedes are out. 2 of them, Jules Eriksson and Jonas Brodin, will miss at least the first 2 games of this series for the Wild. Danila Yurov is in on the second line. Damon Hunt on the third pair with Zach Bogosian. For the Avalanche, that is, Josh Manson is out. Up next, Joe O'Donnell getting ready to drop the puck in game number 1 of round 2. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Colorado Avalanche. Glad to have you along. Welcome aboard, friends. Joe O'Donnell and Tom Reed here with you. Well, Tom, on Thursday night, the Wild punched their ticket to the second round, the Central Division Final now, if you will. And they did so by beating the Dallas Stars in that 6-game 5-2 back in St. Paul. Second time ever clinching on home ice in Wild playoff history. And as you reflect back now, a couple days after the series is over, what jumps out to you the most?
How much fun it was. Really fun. Not just for the players winning the pressure on them also, but for the fans to really enjoy watching it, to clinch it on home ice and be able to advance to the next round. So it's going to be a hot commodity, I think, getting tickets for the rest of this series. And beyond that, if Minnesota can be successful in this one.
All right, not a lot of turnaround time for the Wild, right? Thursday night is Game 6. Friday, you kind of just pick up the pieces, try to rest and recover. Now here we are on Sunday, and this is Game 1 already. So not a lot of practice time, not a lot for the Wild to really think about. They've got to turn the page and move on. And John Hines has talked about a different challenge that this Avalanche team presents from Dallas in a couple of different ways. But what challenges do you see from the Avs?
I think the biggest thing when you look at the Avs right now, they have the speed they have, the transition game they have out of their own zone is tremendous. They've got that defense, that blue line that is so good, so adept at moving the puck out of there, get in the offensive zone, and once they get in that offensive zone, look out, because they like to circle, they like to move that puck, they move their feet, they do everything. So Minnesota has got to meet that challenge and do the best they can defensively in that area, secure the puck and get it out to the other side.
One thing I loved about John Hines' post-game comments after winning the series against the Stars, he talked about how this team plays for one another. How important, as a former player, how important is that?
You don't win unless you're a team. I mean, you really have to play together, and you have to know that everyone's on the same page. So you got to be ready. Once that puck is dropped, you work together as a unit, and you win as a unit, you lose as a unit.
So the Wild with that 5-2 win in Game 6, are 20th all-time home ice win in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Again, first time out of the first round since 2015, led by Quinn Hughes with 3 points in that hockey game. The Avalanche have been off since last Sunday when they swept the Kings, winning Game 4 in LA, 5-1 the final. And so they've had a lot of time to rest and practice and get ready for this opportunity. Opening faceoff from Denver after this. It's the Wild, the Avalanche in Game 1 of the second round. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Grand Casino, where Minnesota comes to play. Visit grandcasino.com to plan your next visit. By BMO. Pentair.
Let's play hockey!
By Acrosure. Your local Toyota dealers. And by the Minnesota Wild podcast. Get your daily Wild audio fix at wild.com/podcast. Now, live from Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado, here's Tom Reed and Joe O'Donnell.
Welcome back to Ball Arena in Denver. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed back here with you, ready to roll Game 1 between the Wild and the Avalanche in its best of 7. Fourth ever playoff meeting between these two teams. The Wild winning 2 of 3, and both times a claimed victory over the Avalanche in the playoffs was in Game 7 and in overtime. Andrew Burnett, 2003, Nino Niederreiter in 2014, the heroes in those decisive games. And all the playoff meetings, including this one now, first round, the previous 3, I should say, first round matchups between these two teams. First time the Wild and the Avalanche meet now in round 2. This place is juiced up, Tom. What are you expecting early?
Well, I expect a good start by both these clubs also. You know, they've gotten to this point because they have played well. They've played as a team on both sides of that red line. And right now, Minnesota just has to play their game. They know they have to do something in this building. They've got to win 4 games. And, of course, only 3 of those games will be in St. Paul. So they've got to win 1 here in beautiful Colorado. It's a beautiful day today.
Volstead and Wedgwood, the goaltending matchup. Wild from left to right on your radio dial in the opening period here in Game 1. Wearing their white jerseys this evening, and the Avalanche from right to left in the first period in their burgundy and blue. It'll be Hartman, Zuccarello, Kaprizov, Faber, and Hughes to start for the Wild. McKinnon with Lehkonen and Natchez, Taves and Makar for the hometown Avs. Puck is down. We're underway. Makar, right side, bounces one ahead. It's skipped along by McKinnon, turning to chase forward his Faber. Brock Faber averaged over 30 minutes time on ice in the opening round series for the Wild. Third most ever in a single playoff series in Wild history, topped only by Hughes in that opening round series that just ended against the Stars. And Ryan Suter as well once logged more ice time on average in a playoff series. No icing on a dump. Ahead puck by Colorado. Kaprizov finds Hartman in the neutral zone. Both teams change on the fly. Hartman cutting past some trouble. It's sliced free by Landeskog. Rescuing it though, Middleton again paired up with Jared Spurgeon. Without Jonas Brodin again for Minnesota. He missed Game 6 after blocking a Mikko Rantanen shot in Game 5 against the Stars. And Brodin not with the team, so he's out for at least the first 2 games of this series. Same for Joel Eriksson, who was injured Thursday night, Tom, and both those losses are crucial.
Yeah, they really are. Those are 2 very important pieces of the puzzle to make Minnesota the team that they are. And, of course, you lose 2 very good, dynamic defensive players also to help keep the puck out of your own net.
Loose puck back behind the Wild cage. Avalanche dig it free. Brock Nelson squeezing it along. The Chushkin in the high slot, shooting one. Tipped down in front, and Volstead able to find it and hang on.
Well, that's being able to see through traffic, and that's exactly what the Minnesota has to do. You've got to clear the front of that net so their goaltender can see the puck coming in here. These 2 teams have met before. I still go back to 2003. That was the first victory by Minnesota in a series, and Jacques Lemaire, the head coach at that point. Doug Riseborough was the general manager, and winning it in Game 7 here with Andy Burnett. And that was the last game that Patrick Waugh played in the National Hockey League.
All time in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Wild have beaten the Avs 10 times. They've dropped 10 games as well. So 10-10, Minnesota's postseason record against the Avalanche. Icing call here on the Wild. Minute 28 gone by in the first of Game 1. The Avs with the only shot. There's no score.
Well, attention to our Wild season ticket members. Even during the Stanley Cup playoffs, we are rewarding you for listening with Forever Wild reward points. That code tonight is called Run Wild. That's just one word, Run Wild. Enter to receive 100 bonus points on your account. That offer will end at midnight tomorrow. Face off deep in the Minnesota zone.
McCarron and Nick Waugh on the draw. McCarron guides it back. Michael McCarron, that first round series for Minnesota. Was very good in the face-off circle. 52.9%. Hughes at the point, a shot glove by Wedgwood. Tarasenko looking for a tip in front. Wedgwood has it. He'll hang on. Scott Wedgwood was excellent. 199 career regular season games. He got his first ever playoff win in Game 1 against the Kings. Went 4-0 in that series. Like his team, of course, a 1.45 goals against average. This is his 9th ever Stanley Cup playoff game, but he did not have a decision in the Stanley Cup playoffs, or a record to any point prior to the opening round series this year against LA. Avalance win the faceoff. Brent Burns strikes one along. It deflects in. Parker Kelly hounds Brock Faber. Allows Logan O'Connor to take over. Off to Kelly, the longtime former Ottawa Senator. Now Brett Kulak pinched in left wing wall. Skipped it behind the Wild net. It trickles around left of Wallstedt. Trenyon trying to muscle a loose puck out to the neutral zone. Did get some help, and the Wild got it to center. On the reset, Jack Drury, who was part of the Mikko Rantanen trade with the Carolina Hurricanes last season. Kulak now a left point shot. It trickled around and ended up to left of Wallstedt. Again, a lot of traffic there. And the mask of Wallstedt is off, so that brings about a halt in play.
Yeah, maybe it's shotgun with the point position. There was a lot of traffic in front of the goaltender at the same time, and all you do in that position as the goalie is just try, where the puck is coming from. You try and get your body in front of it in case it comes dead on you, but he was able to thwart that effort by the Avalanche. And with the referee talking to Jesper Wallstedt, he's been absolutely terrific with a lot of confidence in his first time. And playing a rookie goaltender in the very first game is always tough, but he came through leaps and bounds for Minnesota in that series, and now he's on to the next series and still getting the call.
Wallstedt stopped 140 of the 152 shots he faced against Dallas, had a .970 save percentage at 5-on-5, and against high danger scoring chances, an .844 save percentage at even strength. And if you're wondering, .844, that's against high danger chances, that's phenomenal. Cale Makar back for Colorado off the Natchez. Nifty pass for McKinnon, who barrels ahead, watched by Spurgeon. McKinnon darts in, cut up with a shot. It deflected down, and McKinnon couldn't whack away at the rebound. Jake Middleton now off to Nick Foligno.
You saw the quickness of McKinnon also, and the acceleration he has right from a standing still position.
Marcus Foligno just drilled Cale Makar back behind the Avalanche net.
Ouch. That's what he's saying right
now. Rolls over the blue line, hands it off for Devon Taves, who's whacked that a few times along the sideboards by Zach Bogosian. Avalanche trying to feed the point. Kaprizov had it, gave it away. Landeskog curls it down low. Hustling to it, Damon Hunt in his Stanley Cup playoff debut. And on the road in Denver, what an environment for Damon Hunt. A 23-year-old in his second tour of duty, of course, with Minnesota. As Zach Bogosian retreats back for a loose puck. So the Wild get the left-right pair out there as far as Hunt and Bogosian. Remember in Game 6 against the Stars, it was Petrie and Bogosian, a couple of right-shot D that played alongside each other. Quinn Hughes peels back behind the Wild net. He's gone up against Cale Makar, who's often compared to, of course, in 16 regular season meetings, but their first playoff matchup between Hughes and Makar. Faber gathered a loose puck offensive zone, tried to center it, deflects out to the neutral zone. Back is Hughes, feeding Zuccarello. Stepped in onside with the help of Hartman. Hartman drills it around, left wing boards Marcus Johansson, fresh off the Wild bench. Johansson, bottled up, Ross Colton, skates it ahead for Colorado. Colton to Nick Waugh, threw one in front, and it was tipped away by the goal stick of Wallstedt. As unable to gather that opportunity cleanly was Nazem Kadri. At center point, Taves to the right side, Burns a shot, hammered it wide. It'll skip out and all the way down. Both teams change on the fly. Devon Taves back behind his own net. Just hands it off to McKinnon. McKinnon slowed down by Boldy. Wild may have gotten away with a high stick there as Minnesota keeps his puck in. A long shot tip, kicked out by Wedgwood. That was Danilo Europe with the bit. Now the Avs turn one over. Boldy, right circle, spins with the puck. Boldy cuts back down low, deep in the offensive zone, shaking away from Lehkonen. Up high to Spurgeon. Twisted along Middleton, a shot. And that's caught and held by Wedgwood.
Good puck movement by Minnesota early on here in this first period. And that shot coming right to Wedgwood was able to go from his left to his right to grab onto that one. And that'll keep the face-off deep in the Colorado zone. You mentioned Brent Burns also. You look at the guy now in his 22nd year in the National Hockey League. His first with Colorado, but this is his 14th trip to the playoff competition. but he hasn't got a cup yet.
Entering the two...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Tom, entering the 2026 playoffs, so this current year, the 10 players that have played the most regular season games without a Stanley Cup, as a shot by Hunt off the draw is punched away by Wedgwood. Brent Burns is atop the list. He's played the most regular season career games without winning the Cup. But what's very interesting about that top 10 list going into this playoff year is that the Wild have a couple of players on there as well. So did the Dallas Stars, the team they just dispatched. Jamie Benn and Tyler Myers are on that list. But Nick Foligno, Marcus Johansson, and Jeff Petrie also top 10 in career games played entering this playoff year without a Stanley Cup amongst active players. Shot blocked by the Wild. Trenuno fell down left side. Was able to skip it ahead. Minnesota looks to change here. As back is Sam Malinsky, the Lakeville, Minnesota native, to come through center ice and rattle it in as he was checked by Nico Sturm.
And Joe, when you're the visitors coming into the first game of a series like this, you want to be more defensive-minded. You don't want to just take run and gun with it. You want to make sure that you settle things down and keep the puck out of your own net.
The coaching staff from the Wild expecting this to be a skating and transition-based series. A little different than some of the challenges the Dallas Stars present. The Avalanche in the defensive zone are a man-on-man team. Dallas more of a zone defense in their D zone. So there's something the Wild will see differently in this series as Faber gets one up high. A shot by Sturm, easily kicked away by Wedgwood. No traffic in front. Sturm kept it in for a moment. Faber slashed it down low. And back behind his own net now is Nick Blankenburg. His Stanley Cup playoff debut came in Game 4 against the Kings, replacing the injured Josh Manson. Manson still unable to go as Taves through the slot, tried to dangle to his right, had to take it down off the corner boards and found Arturi Lehkonen. Lehkonen weaves it up high, McKinnon. Darts across the blue line, Zuccarello tries to stay with him. McKinnon flexed it down for for Burns, who rolls it around to Natchez. Martin Natchez swings it back around the net of Volstead. Gathering it there, McKinnon, hounded the whole way by Hughes. It's played to the point. Now left circle, Lehkonen, a shot blocked. Good shot blocked by Brock Faber, laying out Hughes to the puck, and now Zuccarello swerves it back for Faber as both teams will change. Comes along for Quinn Hughes, coming off that three-point game, including 2 goals in Game 6 on Thursday night. Became the first defenseman in Wild history to score a series-clinching goal, did Quinn Hughes. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, a steal by Hartman, now to Kaprizov. Darting up ice with Middleton, a 2-on-2. Kaprizov cut pass in trouble. Kaprizov a shot. He hammered it wide. Avalanche fling it along. They've got a 3-on-3. Landeskog over the blue line. Dropped it off Nelson with a shot. Blocked wide by Boldy. Nelson to the rebound. Brock Nelson to the point. A drive went wide. Came off the end wall. What a stop by Volstead. Getting with his left skate. Now Kulak to it. His drive is fought off by Volstead with traffic around him. 12:20 to go in the first. Crowd liking the chances by the hometown Avalanche, but we were made scoreless in Game 1.
Yeah, Minnesota doing a good job, though. They've outshot the opposition 5-3 so far in their own building.
Johansson by the Avalanche bench trying to come up with a loose puck. Boldy finishes hit on the Chushkin as Kulak peels back. Brett Kulak, the Edmonton Oilers last couple years, got all the way to the Stanley Cup final. This year he played for 3 teams, Edmonton, Pittsburgh, and then the Avs. As a bouncer comes in, Volstead just gloves it and hangs on. And we'll step aside. 11:54 to go in the first. We'll get one more look at that chance that came off the end boards. Oh, it just hit the outside of the post, not the skate of Volstead. On the chance by Nick Blankenburg. Timeout on the ice in Denver. Early stages of Game 1, no score.
All overtimes for a chance to win dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. Get involved now by texting your questions or comments to 64686. Right now the face-off deep in the Minnesota zone.
No score in game one. No Cale Makar right now for the Avalanche. Went to their dressing room, went down the tunnel. The penalty call coming on Colorado here. Kadri wrapped up and took down Jake Middleton. And the Wild are going to get the first power play of game number one. Again, no Cale Makar right now, as Marcus Foligno drilled him back behind the Colorado net a few minutes ago.
And Kadri's going there on the holding call. Minnesota going on the power play. And Joe, this obviously is an area that Minnesota really has to improve on. Prove it in the power play situation. They have not been able to score a lot of goals. We'll see if they can make it happen. Right now they're ranked 7th. They've got 4 goals and a 25 chance. That's 60%, which is not bad. But they move the puck, get that first goal will be a big help.
Avalanche penalty kill in the regular season was excellent. First in the league at 84.6%. They were at 81.3% against the Kings, 3 for 3 in Game 4, completing the sweep in LA. Boldy takes the draw. It's won by Colorado, shifted along. Kaprizov held in right point. So no Joel Eriksson again. This is a big spot where the Wild will miss him. As we see Kaprizov, Boldy, Hughes, Faber, and Zuccarello. So 2 defensemen out there. No Ryan Hartman replacing Eriksson, so to speak, on the top unit. As a failed pass Faber to Kaprizov, and the Wild have to chase as the Avs spear it down.
Yeah, I like what I've seen from Kaprizov also, Joe. He's really stepping up in his game right now for Minnesota, and that's what you're looking for. He's got 9 points, 2 goals, 7 assists. He's at plus 11 in that stretch.
Hughes sweeps one back from left to right on your radio dial. It's Boldy to attack, finding Kaprizov. Knuckled along for Hughes at center point. Left circle for Faber. Brock Faber plucked it back up high for Hughes. Now Faber again left side. Faber at the left wing hash marks. To the blue line for Hughes. Shuttled it to Kaprizov. Worked it quickly to the goal line right side. Boldy. Back up top Kaprizov. Pressured there. They'll get it back to Boldy. Boldy near the blue line. Got it to Zuccarello. Thrown in front. And Kaprizov couldn't tip it home at the back post. Nice setup there. Zuccarello on the reset to Boldy. Overskated. He lost sight of the puck. Logan O'Connor shorthanded, but Hughes is going to chase him down. O'Connor cuts. Right circle. A shot. Hughes tipped it wide.
Scary moment for anybody when you lose a puck like that, and all of a sudden you're chasing.
Avalanche did have a shorthanded goal in their sweep of the Kings in the regular season. The Wild in 4 meetings were 3 for 14 on the power play against the Avs. Hughes at center point, put under some duress. Tough pass there, and he just turned it over. He's back now. It is Kulak to hammer it down. Power plays down to 25 seconds. Both teams change again. Jared Spurgeon carries the Wild ahead. Left it between his legs. Full head of steam for Marcus Johansson. Johansson to Hartman. A little one-touch return feed. Nothing behind it. Brock Nelson steers it down.
Yeah, not the best power play, but Minnesota at least getting the puck in the offensive zone a couple of times.
Spurgeon around his own net. Starts ahead. Power play down to its final seconds. Another drop pass for Johansson. Out of the box steps Kadri as Johansson nearly lost it. Ends up deep in the Avalanche zone. They say this play is onside. Jack Drury squeezing one along. Kadri gets to it. Watched by Spurgeon. Kadri, a right circle wrister, kick save Volstead. The rebound left wing boards Middleton, slammed it along. Gloving it down, Tarasenko had that huge game-tying goal in Game 6 a couple nights back against Dallas, his first of the series. As the Wild send it in from center.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Stars led Game 6 for all of 50 or so seconds as off the rush McKinnon is stopped by Volstead and a whistle.
Well, right now, shots on net 5-4 in favor of the Avalanche. No goals as of yet. And watching Spurgeon with Kadri coming down there, you can see Spurgeon does a nice job just staying on the outside, making sure that he's between the puck carrier and also the net.
9:15 to go in the first. Timeout here as we're halfway home in the opening period of Game 1. From Denver, no score. You're listening to Wild Hockey presented by Grand Casino.
back out to Denver to catch up on the Wild and the Avalanche.
Joe, can you imagine the party going on in Montreal right now and all of Quebec and all of Canada for that matter? They're pretty happy, no question about it. But how many shots did they have? 9?
They had 9. Fewest in a Stanley Cup playoff win in Canadiens franchise history, and that's going back a long ways. Nice shot block by Nico Sturm. It broke his stick. Getting to it, Marcus Foligno skates ahead. Try to shove it in, swatted down by the Avs. Sturm waits a few moments, cranks it back in. And that puck, or they're going to call that offside on Minnesota.
Well, that was close. Well, anyway, where are they going to take the draw? That's the question. Are they going to say intentional or not?
Just saw a note on Twitter, Tom, that it's the first time in a number of years now where the Eastern Conference will not have a team from Florida representing the East in that conference final, right? I mean, Tampa and the Tampa Bay Lightning and Florida Panthers have been on such a run with kind of trading off who goes deep into the playoffs, and Panthers missed the dance this year, and the Lightning now out. Here's Natchez rumbling ahead for the Avalanche. Watched by Faber. Natchez had a lane, found some late help coming, they score. Sam Malinsky, and it's 1-0 Colorado. There it is, Tom, off the rush, those checkups you've got to sort out, and Malinsky there joined the play, was wide open, lasered it under the bar.
Yeah, he came down on that right side there, and a good wrist shot also. He just lets it fly, and Minnesota got a little trapped on that one. Looked like it was going to be a 2-on-2, but all of a sudden Malinsky breaks in from that right side, and being a right-handed shot, able to take that shot, and he takes that pass, and he finds the opening and gives his team, the home team, the 1-0 lead here. This goal coming at 11 minutes and 12 seconds of the first period.
Sam Malinsky led the NHL plus-minus by a defenseman this year. That's his first career Stanley Cup playoff goal. Bogosian headman, Tarasenko tips in, Wedgwood steers it to his right, Burns watched and bumped by Trenyon. Michael McCarron dug it free, sent around the Avalanche net. Getting there is Blankenberg, scoops it out to center. It ends up behind the Wild net. Volstead sliced it around, got to the right point. Burns with a shot, tipped down in front. Getting to a Kadri a bit, kick save Volstead. He's scrambling back there, the young netminder. Gets a whistle.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little bit off balance there, too. He pushed off with his skate, but he went down, but he's able to still have the presence of mind to grab onto that puck, and that'll keep the face-off deep in the zone. Well, that certainly has energized this crowd. That goal by Malinsky. Coming at 11-12 of period number 1.
Boy, sometimes you block a shot, and yeah, it's great you kept it away from your netminder, but where does it end up afterwards? And it got right to Kadri, who got a shot through, and Volstead able to find it at the last moment. Avalanche scoring first for the 4th time now in 5 games this postseason. Against the Kings, they trailed for only 3 minutes and 21 seconds the entire series. They have yet to allow a first period goal in the playoffs. The one they just tallied from Malinsky, their 3rd opening period goal, make it 4 now. The giveaway by the Wild, it's 2-0.
Yep, that was just a terrible giveaway in the defensive zone. I believe that was Middleton who had the gun. Whoa. Well, this one going coming at 12 minutes and 4 seconds. So 11-12 and then 12-4. So they don't take long for the President Trophy-winning team to pick up 2 goals in this contest.
Middleton just fanned on his clearing attempt. Logan O'Connor to Jack Drury, rattled it off the far post. Volstead may be down a touch early, but that's an uncontested look from just a few feet outside the goal crease, and he picked his spot. So Jack Drury, the 26-year-old, gets his first goal of the playoffs. We're back to live action. And the Wild have to settle in quickly. 7:42 to go, opening period. Hughes checked in the corner, lost it. Kulak, D-to-D. Malinsky a shot, gloved and held by Volstead. Faber in front, got to be careful here. We got some penalties coming up, it looks like. Faber's in a heck of a battle, and Landeskog boldy in to help out. And the Avalanche captain and Brock Faber getting to know each other right off the hop in this series.
Yeah, they're talking very close to nose almost right now, and Faber's just kind of smiling at Landeskog, the captain who was away for over a year with a cartilage replacement on his knee. But he's been a good captain over the years. He was really, at the beginning of his career, he took a lot of penalties, but he's going to take a penalty here now, as will Brock Faber. These penalties coming at 12:24.
Minnesota, number 7 is a 2-minute minor for cross-checking, 2-minute minor for roughing. Colorado 92 has 2 minutes for roughing. It'll be a 5-on-4 power play, 2 minutes Colorado.
I don't know how they got that out of all that, but they did.
Wow.
And so the Wild down 2-0 now have to go to the PK, which was obviously a sore spot in round 1. They killed off just 15 of 25 Stars power plays. Now, for whatever reason this year, and if you can figure this out, I'm sure Jared Bednar, the Avalanche coach, would love to have known, the Avs power play was not very good. They finished 27th in the regular season, and in their sweep of the Kings, they were just 1 for 11 with the man advantage. And Noel Makar, of course, still not back yet for the Avs, so Devon Taves takes his spot on the top unit. It's a Wild win the draw. Spurgeon skates around his own net, didn't clear it, hit a body, but thankfully McCarron's there. And now Nick Foligno, shorthanded, spins his way in. The Wild did score 2 shorthanded goals against the Avalanche in the 4 meetings of the regular season. The Wild went 2-1-1 in those 4 games against the Avs. McKinnon started in it, drop pass. Nate just got it to the right circle. A shot knocked down by Volstead, as Kadri had a good look.
Well, you look at Colorado, they move the puck very quickly also, and it's tape-to-tape passing, and that's the key. And as they move in closer to that net, they're just taking those shots. They got teammates trying to crash to get to the front of the net, looking for a rebound or deflection. But Minnesota just has to kind of settle down. They've given up 2 goals. Okay, that's not going to be the last goal scored in this hockey game. I can assure you that.
Avalanche allowed just 5 goals in their 4-game sweep of the Kings overall. And again, they trailed for less than 3.5 minutes that whole series. Wild PK gets a clear down. Final 7 minutes of the opening period here in Denver in Game 1. Wild down 2-0. Nate just carries ahead, drops it back. McKinnon bursting along. Got around Stern. McKinnon a shot, stick save, rebound. McKinnon sent it to Lehkonen, and he scores. And it is 3-0 just like that.
Now, once again, it's McKinnon starting that whole concept with his team, and it's going to be number 6, Hugh Lehkonen, is going to get credit for this one also, finding the back of the net here. As you pointed out, Joe, he had the short-handed goal against the LA Kings, but this was an even strength goal. He just comes in kind of wiping up a little bit as things got a little carried with Minnesota not checking in the defensive zone. He's all by himself on that far side. And the goaltender made the initial save, but it goes right over to Lehkonen finally, who takes that one and puts it away.
Volstead is swimming a bit back there, Tom. He's been scrambling. He hasn't controlled a lot of shots calmly. When he's at his best, he's much more just calm back there. And again, I'm not faulting him really on any of the 3 goals. However, the Avs are buzzing right now. Nelson steals a pass from Zuccarello, tries to dart ahead, working on Bogosian. Back to help out Zuccarello. Able to recover it now. Kaprizov finds Zuccarello. And the penalty kill again haunts the Wild. That was all McKinnon in his speed through center ice. Ross Colton now for the Avs. Darts ahead, goes rink wide, Taves, and onside, drops it back. Nichushkin centered a shot. Nelson missed the target. Boy, this is not what the Wild talked about coming into this series as far as how to defend the Avs. The line rush defense was going to be paramount. Hughes in the neutral zone, curls back. O'Connor hounds in. Logan O'Connor had hip surgery in June after an outstanding playoffs last year. We had 6 points in 7 games. As Hughes got hit hard at center. Darting in, though, was Tarasenko. Couldn't get a shot through him. McCarron recovers the puck. Spikes it along Spurgeon. Into the corner, Tarasenko. Right wing side, goes rink wide. A drive by McCarron. Fought off by Wedgwood. They're starting to say there Logan O'Connor missed the first 69 games of the season after offseason hip surgery, but he's a big piece on the depth end of things for the Avs, and he's back.
Yeah, just watching O'Connor also on the far side. He got hit pretty hard along the boards. He went right to the bench. It didn't appear he was in distress, but that was a hard hit. He took Minnesota's throwing some pretty good weight around.
Back is Kulak to drill one around. Yurov got a piece of it. They go to the corner. 5 minutes to go in the opening period. The Wild trailing 3-0 in Denver. Being outshot 13-5. Loose puck in front of the Avalanche net gathered. Johansson scores! Marcus Johansson got the loose puck. Ripped it stick side of the Wild with some life late in the first.
Yeah, and that's a big goal for Minnesota. Give them that energy that they need. They gave up the first 3 goals, but now all of a sudden they score a goal. They've had a couple of chances, but couldn't find the back of the net. But this is going to be Johansson who's going to get credit on this one. Just picking up that loose puck, as you talked about, Joe, in that neutralized area, right in that slot area. And for Johansson, that will be his second goal of this year's playoffs. This is his 13th year now that he has been in playoff competition in the National Hockey League. This goal coming at 15 minutes and 2 seconds.
Minnesota goal scoring line, number 1, Marcus Johansson, an unassisted goal at 15 minutes, 2 seconds of the first period.
Polino in the offensive left wing corner. Had it taken away. Avalanche start up with Natchez pushing the pace. Blankenberg joins the rush as it was dropped to Lekkinen and he turned it over. Damon Hunt smacking it along. It was tipped before Marcus Foligno could gather it as McKinnon got his stick in the lane. Lekkinen now left wing side. Had 4 points in the opening round series, tied for the most on the Avalanche. He has 23 goals now in 50 career playoff games since the Avs acquired him. Open is Nelson in the slot as Rister trapped and held by Volstead. Like too many grade A scoring chances against for Minnesota here in the first.
Yep, I said earlier it's going to be the hotline after the first and second period. It's just going to be after the second period. Mike Russo of the Athletic is going to join us after the period number 1.
So Brock Nelson denied by Volstead. Big save there by the young goaltender. 4:16 to go in the opening period from Denver. The Wild trying to stabilize, down 3-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Right now, Minnesota just has to play their game. They sit back a little bit, maybe a little bit too much at this point, but they've been outshot 14-6 so far in this hockey game.
The Wild gave up 4 5-on-5 goals the entire series against Dallas. They've given up 2 here in the opening period of Game 1 against the Avalanche, team that led the regular season in so many categories, including goal differential. And they had 121 points in the regular season, a franchise record. In the playoffs for their 9th straight year. Hughes spins down the left wing corner offensive zone. Center, Hartman scores! He muscled it home! And Hartman has pulled the Wild within 1.
Well, you know, so often, Joe, what happens, you score a bunch of goals like Colorado did, and you start to think, oh, this is going to be easy. And so you let up just a little bit. But Hartman worked hard to get to the front of the net. And that's who you're looking for, the guys, to get there. And all of a sudden, Hartman, wait, he gets a piece of it. And it just kind of trickles over the line, but it made the back of the net. And with that, Minnesota has closed the gap on this one. That was that Hughes who made the pass over to him, coming right in that in that area. But Hartman does a good job of just grabbing onto that one. He's a gamer. He's had a terrific season this year. So this goal coming at 16:04.
Ryan Hartman playing in the second round of the playoffs for the first time since 2018 with Nashville. As Tom said, his second of the postseason. Now 11 points his last 13 Stanley Cup playoff games. As Faber launches one off the glass, it's blocked. And the Wild get to it. They chip it ahead. Speeding to it is Trenyon. Yakov Trenyon. A little self-chip through the slot, and Malinsky broke it up.
16:04.
Hughes and Kaprizov the assists. As Brent Burns lost sight of Hartman at the back post. And Hartman, look, Wedgwood was there, Tom. That's a puck that got through the Colorado goaltender.
Yeah, it snuck in through there, and I'm sure he's going to think about how could I have done that a little bit different. But they'll look at the replay and see what happens in period number 2. But that assist by Hughes, that's his 7th assist in the playoffs. And Kaprizov has really stepped up his game. That's his 8th assist in the playoffs. So those two guys have really come to play here in postseason play.
Including the regular season. Kaprizov now a 14-game point streak against the Avalanche, including that helper moments ago. So the Avs scored 3 times in 2 minutes and 1 second. The Wild scored twice in a minute on the button. So a burst by each team, and all of a sudden this game is a one goal contest with the Wild down 3-2, icing on the Avs. So 3:25 to go in the first. Wild 2 goals on 7 shots. The Avalanche 3 goals on 14 shots.
Face-off so important right now for Minnesota. Also just getting the draw, especially in the offensive zone.
In the regular season between these teams, the Avalanche outshot the Wild 166 to 138 through the 4 meetings. Colorado had 40 or more shots in each of the first 3 games against the Wild. And in the last meeting, they had 36. Kaprizov knuckles one along. Hartman able to tip it ahead. Back is Sam Malinsky. Breakout season for him along the Avalanche blue line. Now Natchez feeds McKinnon, trying to start in. Watched by Faber. Back to Natchez. A backdoor pass. And it jumped a bit with Hartman defending. A shot never got through. Natchez again, left wing side, shooting one. Volstead has that in his belly and gets a whistle.
Yeah, Natchez taking that shot. You can see Volstead, he's right down on his pads there and takes a shot in the midsection. That'll bring the faceoff to his right. 2:52 to go here in the first period. Shots 15-7 in favor of the home team, and it was 3-0 at one time for the home team, but Minnesota battling back here. And once again, Mike Russo will be our guest after period number 1. Right for the Athletic does a good job. That just pulls pretty well on what happens around the National Hockey League.
They just updated the time of that goal for Hartman. It's actually 62 seconds after the Johansson goal, but either way, the Wild with back-to-back tallies and a 3-2 deficit now. In the neutral zone, Trenyon tried to fire one in, ends up in the Avalanche bench. Striking the backup goaltender Mackenzie Blackwood, who's looking for that loose puck.
And Joe, the thing is, when you give up 3 goals like that, you start thinking, oh, here we go. Then you get 1 goal. Then you get 2. All of a sudden, the bench starts to get a little more lively at the same time. And so right now, Minnesota has to feel pretty good about being able to come back. But they've got to continue to play the game they're playing. And you watch a guy like McKinnon. He's all over the ice, and he's got a great set of wheels.
McCarron, Tarasenko, Trenyon, Spurgeon, and Middleton. The Wild win this neutralized faceoff back, hustling for Middleton. Worked it off the left wing boards. Trenyon chipped at the center. Yakov Trenyon, of course, was a trade deadline acquisition by the Avalanche a few years ago. Had some playoff experience with the Avs. He also played against the Avs in 2022 in the postseason when he was with the Nashville Predators, and he scored 3 goals in 4 games against Colorado. Here's Logan O'Connor walking in with a shot, punched away by Volstead. O'Connor then bumped by Trenyon. Puck dug free by Minnesota. It's outletted. Speeding in offensive zone right side, Trenyon trying to protect it. Had it slashed away by Taves. Got back on it to Trenyon. Taves continues to hound him. Supporting nicely Danila Yurov. Got it to Boldy. Whipped up high. A shot by Hunt was blocked. It kicks free for Bogosian. Refeeding Hunt at the left point on the pop-out play. Trenyon a shot with traffic in front. It was deflected wide. Boldy to the loose change. Matt Boldy hands it to the man fresh off the bench. Coming around the cage of the Avalanche is Marcus Johansson. Johansson to center point for Hunt. Right back to Johansson outside the right circle. His wrist is blocked. Landeskog deflects it out to the neutral zone, and the Avs survive that sequence.
Yeah, good position by Landeskog to get in front of that shot.
Johansson hands it off. Hunt back behind his own net. Had some trouble with it. Had to flip it off to Bogosian. Right back to Damon Hunt. Looking for Johansson, who lost the puck. Avalanche dart in. Natchez had his stick lifted. Good play by Boldy. Lecken into the loose change. Whipped it towards the Wild slot. Johansson steals. Swings it back. Hunt goes D to D. And Zach Bogosian lumbers along for Minnesota. With just over a minute to go in the first. Veteran defenseman hits the red line. Shoots it in. Nick Blankenberg, the former Blue Jackets draft pick, is back. And off on the right wing side now, it comes to McKinnon, who dances with the puck as he so often does, and then flicks it back to Blankenberg. Rattled along for Lehkonen as Hughes tried to gallop to that pass. Lehkonen dropped it off. A shot by Blankenberg was blocked. And Minnesota, that was Kulak. Minnesota to it. They'll get out to center ice. Brock Faber picks up the loose puck. He'll dart in right side, spun it around the end glass. Marcus Foligno waits for it, left wing wall. Handed it back at the point, Hughes. Hughes with some room across the blue line. Pivots, wristing a shot. It was tipped a couple of times in front and deflected wide. Foligno and McKinnon to the corner. Both Foligno brothers are there. Marcus able to emerge with the puck. Back of the cage now, Nico Sturm. Up high to Faber. To the right side for Hughes, trying to spin against Lehkonen. Cutting back now is Hughes. Through the high slot, Quinn Hughes hands it to Faber. Paddling along, Marcus Foligno has a lane right circle. A wrister gloved and held by Wedgwood.
Good pass by Minnesota. Good puck movement also. You watch Hughes out there when he's got the puck, and he's the guy that has the puck on his stick so much, Joe. They talk about him that 29 minutes, I think, that he's had the puck on the stick in the previous games.
Cale Makar is back here now for Colorado, Tom, testing out what appears to be a right leg issue, and he'll now go sit back on the Avalanche bench. He came out for a little stroll there during that whistle and break in the play, and looks like he's good to go.
Yeah, that's good news certainly for Colorado. Not necessarily good news for Minnesota, but he's right on the end of the bench, so we'll see what happens after he sits in that dressing room for about 15 minutes and see if he can come back with full head of steam.
Brock Nelson on the faceoff for Colorado, and 2 playoff series with the Avs. One last year, the 7-game setback against Dallas, and then this opening round series against the Kings. Just a goal and 4 assists. Hartman fires a side-angle shot, hit the outside of the net. Seconds winding down, Hartman centers, and that's going to take us to the first intermission.
Well, Sardo was a bad first period for Minnesota, giving up the first 3 goals of this hockey game, but all of a sudden they come back with 2 goals, and once again the penalty killing did not work for Minnesota. Power play goal for the Avs, but right now Minnesota trails by 1, and the faceoffs were 50-50 in period number 1.
Michael Russo from The Athletic will be Tom Reed's guest here from Ball Arena. That's coming up at the first intermission. At the second intermission, we'll have a Tom Reed's hotline. So the Avs got 3 goals in just over 2 minutes. The Wild respond, getting a pair of tallies in just over a minute to settle in a bit. And what was a high-scoring opening period, I think a lot of us expected that. 25 combined shots, 5 finding the back of the net. 3-2 the Avs in front of the Wild here in Game 1 after 20 minutes. We'll take a break from Denver. Back after this, you're listening to Wild Hockey presented by Grand Casino. spins down the left wing corner, offensive zone, center. Hartman scores! He muscled it home, and Hartman has pulled the Wild within one.
And that was a big goal, certainly for Minnesota, after being down 3-0 in this hockey and battled back with the last 2 goals to make it a 3-2 game. I'm Tom Reed. Please be joined with Mike Russo of The Athletic. And I guess, first of all, Mike, that isn't quite what the doctor ordered, those first 3 goals by the opposition.
Yeah, and bad 2-11 and turned 0-0 into a 3-0 game quickly. But I give the Wild credit for coming back. Great play by that second line there with Danilo Urhoff centering. Turnover, Marcus Johansson scores a big goal, and obviously the great play by Quinn Hughes to set up Ryan Hartman. So they got themselves back in the game. They took advantage of a little time there without Cale Makar on the bench. He did come back. He missed the final 17-14 of that period, did come back to the bench there, didn't get a shift, so we'll see if he's okay, but it looked like that Marcus Foligno hit that blew him up just really stung him.
And that was a good hit, too.
Yeah, it was a clean hit.
It was a hard hit, but it was a good hit.
And you know who was lucky on that hit? Marcus, his skate, McCart's skate almost hit him right in the head. That was
right. These guys don't wear those throat protectors. I wish they would, but they do not. It's like, I can't wear a helmet, but you know what? Now they're all wearing helmets, so it can't change in a hurry. But you look at Minnesota, do you think they sat back a little bit in the first period? I didn't get that impression, but at the same time, they were behind by 3 goals.
Yeah, I think that I will say, I do think as much as I think the Wild were excited about just getting back on the ice right away, I think having such a quick change really hurt the team. Like, I don't think they looked prepared for the way that they move up the middle, they could fly through the neutral zone. And I just think that because they didn't have that extra day that they so expected and were suddenly told at midnight the night before that they were flying here on Saturday, I just think it put them in a position where they just still thought they were facing Dallas, right? And you saw there, they were, Colorado was just going right up the gut. First goal, they lose a draw. Hartman gets, loses a guy in the D zone, but it started in the neutral zone where he also lost a guy. And then, the second goal, obviously just a mistake by Jake Middleton, and the third goal, their penalty kill's got to be better. But McKinnon, again, just goes up the gut. Like, it just feels like tomorrow is going to be they are very much in this game. It can somehow try to steal one here. But I think tomorrow is going to be a very big day. I don't think they want to get on the ice, but they might have to. I mean, it's going to be a lot of video work tomorrow, I think, to just try to figure out the differences between playing a very different Colorado team comparatively to Dallas.
Yeah, the thing you brought up there just a few moments ago, the fact is they didn't have the rest. And look at what they have, 8 days between games, and Minnesota had, 72 hours?
Yeah.
Maybe not even that.
Yeah, and it's not even to me, even the rest. It's the fact that they really didn't get to prep. Like, they haven't had a full practice since right. Yesterday was an optional practice that a lot of guys missed, and they were off the day before, and they played the day before that. So I just think that they were a little caught off guard there, that period, from again, a difference between 2 very different teams.
Yeah, but it's a good thing you got guys like Hartman who will crash that net. He'll stay there, and he got one of the goals.
They're back in this game. I mean, look, they've played Colorado well. 2 huge goals. They easily could have had a third there at the end of the period. So we'll see if Makar is okay to start the second period. He was skating a little bit after the period ended. But look, they're back in this game, but they are definitely right now during the intermission going to have to make some adjustments.
And you can't blame the goaltender. I mean, Jasper looked like he was floundering a little bit out there, but the puck's movement is so fast, and they can shoot the puck and they can fly. And it all starts with McKinnon once again. You look at the acceleration he has from a dead stop that he can take off in a hurry. He's hard to maintain.
And they're so good going horizontal from post to post and just creating empty nets. And it's just, Blankenberg could have also scored a goal there on a similar type of play that the Lehkonen goal happened. So I just think that this is a very different team. There's a reason why Colorado was the best team in the league this year. But you're right, their speed is so different than Dallas. They are an even strength. Their stars are even strength. And so we'll see the adjustments that they make here coming out in a second, but they have got to tighten up. So it does look like a lower body injury from Makar looking at the replay, by the way.
Well, we'll find out, see if he comes back on the ice. He sat in the end of the bench when he came out of that little twirl around to see how he felt, so we'll find out soon enough. But I look at the defensive play of this hockey club, too, referring to the Avalance. They won the William Jennings Award, 197 goals against in the year, which is the best. The last, I think, the winner for this team was Patrick Waugh way back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
He won, as the whole team won that. So.
Yeah, and, you look at that L.A. series, and L.A. tried to tighten things up and make things really difficult difficult on Colorado, and for the most part did a good job. But Colorado can play that type of game too. They could play a patient defensive game. Their blue line, it's an interesting blue line because obviously you have Taves and McCarr, who's Canada's top pair at the Olympics. But then you have Malinsky, who looks like he is going to be like the next Cale McCarr. He looks like an absolute stud. And Brent Burns playing up there because Josh Manson isn't out. But their blue line, to me, their second and third pair should be exposable if you're the Wild. And so I do think that if the Wild could try to get in on the forecheck, get pucks deep, and start pounding these guys the way that they did Dallas, I just think the Wild have a chance to be a big part of the series. Obviously, losing Eric Sinek for a while, and I think Jonas Brodin's probably done for the series personally, but I hear a lot worse things on his injury than Eric Sinek. But those are huge issues, obviously, that they're going to have to.
They really are, especially the fact that they're such good defensive players also.
Yep. Although I thought Damon Hunt looked really good that period. So Middleton's got to be better. I mean, he had a tough period, I would say.
Yeah, and you get that, and then your mind starts to wander. What am I going to do now? Now you're trying to be over cautious, and that's when you start to make the mistakes too, because you slow things down just a little bit. You mentioned Brent Burns, 22 years in the league, has never won the cup.
Yeah,
and what a player he is.
I know, and look, I think he's a Hall of Famer. A cup would help that probably cause. I'm actually sitting down with him tomorrow at their practice facility to do a big story on him when we go back to Minnesota, because I just find it fascinating. The guy's played more than 1,000 regular season games. The Wild traded him in 2011 at that draft. I'll never forget it. And here we are 15 years later, and for the first time in the playoffs, he's playing the Minnesota Wild. It's a heck of a story. He's won in Norris. He's been an absolute superstar in this league. He looks like he could still play for as long as he wants. He keeps himself in insane shape. He's just a great guy as well.
Yeah, he's close to 1,600 games in the National Hockey League in 22 seasons.
It's nuts. And,
have you ever looked in his backpack that he wears all the time?
No, I've seen the backpack.
He's got a coffee cup in there. He's got some beans. He's got a grinder. He's got all kinds of stuff.
He's got video equipment. He's got probably a couple snakes, everything.
Oh, yeah, he's done safe. So what do you expect to see here for period number 2?
I think that the Wild, usually they make the right moves in the intermission to make adjustments. And I just think that if they can slow this team down that's where it starts, in the neutral zone. It's not really so much in the D zone. They're generating their speed by flying through the neutral zone. So I got to see if they're going to make some tweaks there to slow this team down. If they do, I do think that if the Wild can, cause some turnovers there and turn it the other way and just go to town on these defensemen, I think they have a chance to come back and win this game.
Well, hopefully that'll happen, Mike. Thanks for being with us.
Anytime, Tom.
Michael Russo, our guest here, the Athletica. Kevin, let's go back to you.
Great. Thank you, Michael. And for joining us in the intermission, you get a gift certificate down at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. But we're only going to give you half of it. The other half you got to get from me personally. That's Michael Russo, Wild and Avalanche. Game 1 of the second round. We'll give you a recap next. Wild Trail 3-2. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino. second, but the Wild respond. Johansson and Hartman 62 seconds apart. Wild are in business, still down 1 goal after 1 period of play. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Hockey lives here. The Rockies had an afternoon game against...
This is Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino. When it comes to
Back for the second period, the Wild trail the Avalanche 3-2. Minnesota had 2 comeback wins in their opening round series against Dallas. They're down a goal here with 2 periods to go. From right to left on your radio dial in the second, the Wild win the faceoff. Avalanche skating from left to right. Kaprizov fired one. Hartman got to it as it was blocked. Hartman got wrestled down, penalty call. It's shipped out to center ice. No touch up there by the Avs, they say. Hughes churns it to favor. Volstead hasn't started the bench yet. He's not aware that there's a delayed call, which is odd.
Very odd.
But I'm sure they were trying to holler from the bench, but pretty loud in this building. And early in the second,
2-minute minor for hooking.
Lehkonen goes to the box for hooking.
Well, he's a good guy to get off the ice also. He picked up a couple goals this offseason, one being a short-handed goal. Now he had the power play goal back in the first period. This penalty coming early on at just 21 seconds. of the second period. So good chance for Minnesota. Got to get that power play working. Minnesota ranked 7th overall in playoff competition.
John Hines stressed both power play units have to improve in this second round series. Boldy won the faceoff. Swerves it around, right point Kaprizov, quickly to Zuccarello. Back to Kaprizov and handcuffed him and banks to center. Hughes on the reset. From right to left on your radio dial. Now Kaprizov, right wing boards. Chunks it back for Hughes. Hughes at the red line. Cuts towards the left wing side. Steps in over the blue line. Hughes took it along the board. Spun it back up top. Zuccarello through the high slot. Is past the flex. And it's swatted along by Nelson. So Zuccarello carves back for it. Starts the power play ahead again. Matt Zuccarello over the offensive blue line. Swerves it into the right wing corner. Getting to it Faber. Faber angles it back to Zuccarello. Hash marks right side of the point for Boldy. Given back along Zuccarello. Zuccarello at the top of the right circle. At the hash marks, given some space. He'll reconnect with Boldy. Boldy cuts down low, stops above the goal line. Played it up top for Hughes. One touch back to Boldy. Boldy with it, down low it comes. Kaprizov, a shot held by Wedgwood. He looked around, but he's gotten his gear and gets a whistle.
Yeah, he wasn't quite sure where it was, but he looked right behind him, as you call it, Joe. And the thing is, Minnesota doing a good job in that offensive zone also, that O-zone, moving the puck around at the same time, moving their feet, putting themselves in a position to get some shots with a man advantage. They still have 59 seconds remaining on the power play.
Boldy again tasked with taking the draw. Joel Erikssonek leading the NHL playoffs and face-off wins through the opening round. But he's out, unavailable for at least games 1 and 2 for the Wild. So Boldy on the draw again, got some help and hooked it up top for Hughes. Hughes had a bouncing puck betray him. Chunked it back to Boldy, whipped it back of the net. Kaprizov, check there. Now Parker Kelly for the Avalanche. Swings it around right point. Boldy, a beautiful keep. Somehow held that puck in. Boldy stashes it along. Hughes, left circle. Dancing down low, curls back. He's got Faber at center point. Hughes at the left face-off dot. Pivoting. Played it back of the net, Zuccarello. Banks it to the right side, Boldy. With the power play down to a half minute. Boldy's long shot soared wide. Grabbing the carom is Hughes, just above the goal line, left wing boards. Twisting it up top for Faber. Brock Faber kicks it back to Hughes outside the left circle. Tried to center. Kaprizov, a shot was blocked. Second try, caught the glass. Boldy hustled to it. Good puck recovery there by Minnesota. Back up top it comes. Faber down low, a shot. Tipped just wide by Boldy. The careening, bouncing puck grabbed by Kelly. Hog-tied by Hughes. Power play about to expire. Checking his man in the corner, Zuccarello. Loose puck dug free. And the Avalanche sprinkle it down.
No, good passing play, good power play by Minnesota, just didn't get any reward with it.
Here's Brock Faber for the power play for the Wild. 0 for 2. Avs are 1 for 1. Faber turned it over to Lehkonen, who just sealed the glass. He'll swing it up high, nobody there. Ryan Hartman skates to it. Hartman looking for Marcus Johansson. Devon Taves broke up that offering. Should note, Cale Makar back for this second period. He came back late in the first, but didn't take a shift for the Avalanche. He is on their bench here to start the second. Another giveaway by the Wild. Natchez swung it up high. A shot knocked down in front. And pinball's free. Volstead made the save with his left pad. And he'll jump on top of it for a whistle.
Yeah, there's some dark jerseys right in front of him also, but he was able to grab onto them with that big left glove, as you call it, and all of a sudden now the faceoff is going to be deep in the Minnesota zone. Minnesota's power play worked well. They just wasn't able to find the back of the net. Good passing. And the one area Minnesota's got to improve upon is that neutralized area, Joe. I think you talked about that with Jack before the game. Capiano, the assistant coach. That's where the speed is coming, especially for the Avalanche.
Taves and Malinsky are paired up here. As we're back to five-a-side hockey. Nick Waugh now won a Stanley Cup with the Golden Knights in 2023. Avalanche got him mid-season. Puck sent out to center ice by the Wild, batted back in by Ross Colton. The Avalanche overall 11 players with at least one Stanley Cup ring. Here's Colton, the side angle shot. Big rebound off the equipment of Volstead. It's gathered by Tarasenko right side, banked ahead. Spurgeon chipped it a bit further. Trenyon tries to weave it along. Tarasenko in onside, got a stick lifter. Open ice for Kadri, closed on by Hunt. But Kadri jammed on the brakes, found a man coming through the left circle, and that puck turned over by Colton as he lost his footing. McCarron lugs it the other way. 2 goals against the Stars in round 1 for McCarron. He'll punch it in. Avalanche are back. It's Makar to headman. Darting in to Chushkin, a high-rising shot off the shoulder of Volstead. Chushkin to his own rebound. Now to Blankenberg. Blankenberg, a wrister blocked by Hunt. Nico Sturm trying to clear out, got checked, but he swept it free. Great effort there by Sturm from his side. Marcus Foligno now for the Wild. Hit the offensive blue line left side, rolled it down low. Sturm and the Foligno brothers dig this free. Marcus Foligno wraparound, going right to the blue paint, and Wedgwood made the stick save, the Avalanche counter. Nichushkin with Blankenberg going in front. Blankenberg open, scores. Second goal of the game for Nick Blankenberg. He's having a night. He beat Volstead off the rush again. The Avalanche make it 4-2.
Oh, one of those situations also. You look at Blankenberg comes down on that side and just takes that puck and good passing play. And Minnesota has good chances early on here, but to go to Blankenberg, who's on the far side, and that assist is going to go also to Nichushkin. He does a nice job of feeding the youngster with that pass. He puts it away, and Blankenberg picks up that goal, and that's a big goal for his team to give that 2-goal lead once again, coming at 4 minutes and 16 seconds.
Excuse me, it's the first of the game, first of his career in the playoffs. Sam Malinsky got his first of the postseason of his career with the opening goal. So 2 young Avalanche defensemen. And again, Blankenberg only playing because Josh Manson is dinged up. And the Avs have a 2-goal lead again. At the left point, Hughes keeps in offensive line. Sent one to the front of the cage, broken up. Nate just hands it off. Burns bothered by Zuccarello. Brent Burns in his 22nd NHL season sent it around his end boards. Faber pinched in. McKinnon through his own goal mouth, where Wedgwood just knocks it to his right. Stretch pass for McKinnon, rattles off some bodies and in. McKinnon hurries to it, tried to center, ricocheted out in front. And Zuccarello picks it up, flings it along for Hartman. Watched by McCarr in a one-on-one, a long wrister by Hartman. Fended away by Wedgwood, the Wild change on the fly. Just over 5 minutes gone by in the second period here in Game 1 in Denver. Avalanche leading the Wild 4-2. Since the 2020 postseason, when the Wild give up 3 or more, they're 0-21. They're 14-0 when they give up 2 or fewer. That's since 2020 in the playoffs. They've given up 4 here. Logan O'Connor deflected a puck, so there's no icing. Volstead way out to his left, pounded it off the boards, and it got through the neutral ice area where Urov skies it in. Boldy watched by Taves. Boldy leaned on by Taves, had his skates taken out from underneath them. Play continues. Boldy back to his skates as a puck battle on the right of Wedgwood here. Johansson's in the vicinity, so is Urov. It leaks through the Avalanche slot. Parker Kelly's pass intercepted by Urov, who backhands it in as the Wild change again. McCarr launches a pass up ice, getting a piece of it. O'Connor. Damon Hunt turns to chase. Hunt working it around for Zach Bogosian. And now McCarron right side outlets looking for Tarasenko. Bounced away. Puck then hit Tarasenko up in his facial area. As the Avalanche gather here, it's Malinsky, an errant feed. Icing here coming on the home side. 6:15 played in the second. Avalanche doubling up the Wild in shots and doubling them up on the scoreboard as well. It's 4-2 Colorado.
Well, secure your Minnesota Wild season tickets now for priority playoff access, members only pricing, and the moments that matter. Become a season ticket member today at wild.com/forever. And the faceoff, as Joe said, will be deep in the Avalanche zone. They're having a little bit of a huddle right now as who's going to go where, do what with the puck, and what are they going to try. We'll see what happens just to the left of their netminder.
In the regular season, the Avalanche got 233 points from defensemen that led the NHL. McCarr finished third amongst all blue liners in scoring. In round 1, the Wild had 17 points from the blue line, which was tied for the most in the league with Edmonton. But here in this game, it's been the Colorado defense that has certainly had their stamp on it, as offside are the Avs trying to rush ahead. And we've got a timeout on the ice. Still early in the second, the Wild trail the Avalanche in Denver 4-2 in Game 1 of the second round series. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
there. They did come back, though, and pick up a couple of goals to make it a 3-2 game, but they've given up another goal here in period number 2 with Leichenberg getting his first in the National Hockey League as a youngster. And with that, Nikushkin and also Makar picks up an assist. That's Makar's first assist of the playoffs.
The Avalanche had 8 different goal scorers in the opening round series against the Kings. That sweep of L.A. 3 different goal scorers tonight. The Wild in the opening round series against Dallas got points from 18 different skaters. Tied for the most with Philadelphia in the first round. Trenyon finds Tarasenko. He's in alone, made a move to his backhand. He scores! Tarasenko! A thing of beauty with one hand. He tucked it home, and the Wild refused to go away in Denver. They're back within 1.
Well, what a play by Tarasenko. Once again, he came down there, and as you were right, Joe, as he took that pass also, he had to reach back and tuck it in with the backside of the blade. He was going to his left. The stick went to the right, and he was able to reach around the goal and put it away. And Minnesota has battled back here once again. They haven't had a chance to have the lead in this game yet, but right now, with 23 shots on the Avs side, 13 shots on the Minnesota side. But it's an important, a big goal for Minnesota once again, and that should give them a little more life also. But just keep battling hard, and good things will happen, and that's what's taking place here right now. But that goal by Tarasenko, he had a beautiful goal the last game also against the Dallas Stars.
Well, about 2.5 minutes after the Avs went up 4-2, the Wild cut the deficit again to 1. And again, the Avalanche gave up just 5 goals in 4 games against the Kings. The Wild have allowed 3 5-on-5 goals in this game. Against Dallas in the first round, they gave up just 4 at 5-on-5 even strength hockey.
Time of the goal, 6 minutes, 45 seconds of the second period. Tarasenko from Trenton and McCarron at 6:45.
And there's that third line going to work for the Wild. Zuccarello just above the red line right side, shoots in from center. Hartman whipped it blindly in front, cut off by Lehkonen, notched along for the control momentarily by Natchez. He fumbled it away, and the Wild have puck possession with Hughes. Over to Spurgeon. Spurgeon goes rink wide. Kaprizov had some trouble with it, spins back for it. Zuccarello supported and dumps it in. The Wild finishing a line change here as Middleton replaces Hughes. Some fresh forwards over the boards as well for Minnesota. Taves to Makar. And now Lehkonen trying to dump it in, batted away by Urov. Urov 4 games in the opening round series against Dallas. Was a healthy scratch the last couple of games as icing here on Minnesota with 12:14 to go in the second period, trailing in game 1 in Denver 4-3.
Well, Minnesota, they got to feel pretty good about themselves. They've given up too many goals. They obviously don't like that part of the game, but at the same time, they've also battled back to make something happen with their hockey club. And right now, the faceoff is going to be deep in the Minnesota zone to the right of Jesper Wallstedt.
The Avalanche in the regular season averaged 3.63 goals per game. Nice shot blocked by the Wild's Boldy. Johansson outlets, Boldy charging to it left side. Boldy, a spin move, got bumped, stayed with it, and muscled it off for Johansson, who was hit hard by Landeskog. Nichushkin had a pass, hit a skate, comes back now to Nichushkin, who steps in onside right wing boards. Nichushkin trying to turn Spurgeon. Nichushkin behind the net of Wallstedt. Now hounded by Middleton, comes up top, Kulak a drive, whistled well wide. Johansson chops at it, that hit Malinsky up high. The puck did, and play continues. Middleton lugs it ahead for Minnesota. Middleton cut past the check left circle. Middleton now down below the goal line trying to spin. Johansson supports and digs it free. They'll lob it around the boards, but Damon Hunt just unable to keep it.
Yeah, I think that puck came up high enough also. I think he got cut on the play. I think I'm seeing blood on the ice.
Yep. And now a broken stick for Bogosian. He'll just kick the puck nicely around for Hunt and then race off to get a new stick. As Hunt headmans, Sturm was slowed down at center. Marcus Foligno follows it up and jabs it in. Parker Kelly for the Avalanche couldn't clear. Bogosian with that new stick, tucks it down low. Burns reverses. Blankenberg kept it coming. Bogosian pinches in, hounding Parker Kelly. Loose puck recoveries in the offensive zone against something else the Minnesota Wild are going to be keying on in this series. Numbers-wise, analytically, the Avalanche in the regular season weren't very good in their own zone at some of those loose puck recoveries. The Wild want to, again, hound pucks in the offensive zone, keep plays alive. As Drury sends one up top, Makar through the lane, a shot kick save Wallstedt. Rebound picked up by Nick Foligno, jabbed off his end boards to the left wing side, where Makar will race to it, fired one in front, broken up. Good stick by Bogosian, and Nico Sturm to the loose puck. gathers, fights his way through center. Sturm, a member of the 2022 Stanley Cup winning Avalance team, as he spins one from a tough angle. It was kicked away by Wedgwood. And Devon Taves the other way looking for Logan O'Connor. That pass was errant. It bounces into the Wild slot. Faber fell down, got back up, and just slashed it through center. Trenyon finds McCarron racing in right circle. Arister caught the glass. Tarasenko jabs it back down low. Trenyon trying to step out in front, and he fumbled it away. McCarr right there, and left wing side. It comes through center ice. It's dealt in by Kadri. Ross Colton around to Nick Waugh. Waugh with it for the Avalanche. Big part of this series will be these bottom six forwards for each team. They go about it a different way. Jared Bednar, the Avalanche head coach, talking about that this morning. He knows the Wild's bottom six are a rugged group. His team gets it done a little bit more with skill and defensive prowess in their bottom two lines. Wild clear ahead. Back for it was Kulak. Got it to Lehkonen, who sends it in the Wild zone. Middleton turns with it, angled along Zuccarello. Tipping into open ice, it's Hartman. In onside, Hartman, left circle. Found the trailer coming, Kaprizov. A shot was knocked down in front and trickled around the blue paint for a moment. Wild keep the line.
Yeah, great to see Minnesota getting opportunities also to score goals.
Spurgeon, a right point shot. Big rebound. Middleton's drive was blocked out in front. Wild rising to the task here. Kaprizov centered, and Hartman poked it just wide. Lehkonen out of the corner. Couldn't get it past the pinching Middleton. Again, Middleton hounds Lehkonen, and finally, McKinnon goes through his own slot. McCarr lobs it ahead for Natchez. Natchez peels up, looking for some late help. He was closed on by Spurgeon. Zuccarello sent it behind his own net, intercepted there, but a centering pass by Lehkonen, cut off by Zuccarello. He failed to clear. And then a drive in front by McKinnon, batted around and pinballed back down the ice by the Wild. What a pace so far in game one. 8.5 minutes to go, second period in Denver. The Wild trailing 4-3.
Yeah, John, watching the line change in Minnesota and both Colorado and Minnesota have done a nice job of changing lines collectively, where they get everybody on the ice at the same time.
Blankenberger right wing shot as he kept the puck in. It's chested, trapped, and held by Jesper Wallstedt. Well, it's one thing Jack Capuano told me this morning, Tom. The shift length, when you change all those little details, important against a skating team like the Avalanche. 8:17 to go, second period. It's game one. The Wild down 4-3 in Denver. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Set. The Canadians will face off against the Sabres starting on the 6th. Tomorrow it's the Flyers and Hurricanes, game one in their best-of-7 series. The Ducks will take on the Golden Knights. And, of course, in Colorado, right now, the Wild trail the Avalanche 4-3. With more on that, back to Joe and Tom.
Can you imagine, Joe, being in Montreal, being in the arena for that next game? I mean, you thought it was loud when Marc-Andre Fleury was there his last game. It's going to double that. You can bet there's being a lot of suds being sold right now in the city of Montreal. Now, right now, the faceoff is going to be deep in the Minnesota zone to the left of Jesper Wallstedt, who's been the rock for Minnesota.
An interesting kind of storyline from that series, the Lightning and the Canadiens. The fact that Marty St. Louis, of course, played so many years with the Lightning, won a Stanley Cup there. Not many head coaches have played against, coached against the team in the playoffs that they won a cup with as a player. Middleton just gets thrown down in the corner as a loose puck battle behind the Wild net is gathered by the Avalanche's Brock Nelson. Then Nichushkin wheeled it up high. Taves sent it around the glass. Middleton again wrapped up by Nelson and again dumped by Nelson. Wild can't clear. Makar long shot knocked down in front by Spurgeon. Middleton took over from there, went behind his own net, reversed it left wing side. Johansson shoots out the center on the stretch pass. Boldy trying to streak in, and this play is just a hair offside as Taves was watching Boldy carefully.
Well, want to be the first in line for Minnesota Wild playoff tickets? Stay ahead of the rush and never miss a ticket drop. Sign up for playoff ticket alerts by texting playoffs to 222100. Right now, the faceoff is going to be outside the defensive zone of the Avalance by the penalty box area, just down from us.
Tom, so much has already gone on in this hockey game, and I look up at the clock. There's still 7:44 left in the second period. And we're just a little bit more than halfway home. We've got 7 combined goals. We've had power plays. We've had pucks to the face. We've had injuries where guys have left the game for a minute, come back in the case of Cale Makar. A lot to unpack here in the early going of what we hope will be another memorable series for the Wild. They won their 5th all-time playoff series against the Stars to open off this postseason. As Hughes scores! Quinn Hughes with traffic in front, beat Wedgwood glove side. Wedgwood looking around, felt he was interfered with. We'll see if the Avalanche take a look at it, as Hughes, who scored twice in Game 6 against the Stars, has pulled the Wild even here in Denver.
And this comes at 12:43 of the second period. And the one thing also, I was watching Hughes, and I could see him kind of drifting this way, and all of a sudden he went the opposite way and takes that quick release, finds the top corner.
And Nick Foligno just was getting positioning in front against the smaller Blankenberg. Getting a look on the replay, he didn't look to do anything that would be close to goaltender interference. And the Wild have come all the way back here in Game 1.
Yep, no challenge on the play.
John Hines talking about it today with the national broadcasters from TNT and Sportsnet. How hungry this Wild team is, how much they learned in their first round series against the Dallas Stars. And they are a resilient bunch, aren't they?
They really are. And I look at like Hughes. He makes Brock Faber a better player, and Faber helps Hughes to make him a better player.
Hartman over the blue line, lost the puck to center. He'll regather and roll one in. 4 goals on 16 shots for the Wild. Again, the Avs gave up 5 in 4 games to the Kings, all with Wedgwood and net. Starting in are the Avalanche with McKinnon. Now Faber in the corner. Bumped by Natchez, supporting Kaprizov. Wheels around the cage of Volstead. Ripped it along looking for Hartman. But back there waiting for it was Makar to take it away. Cale Makar. Over a point a game in his Stanley Cup playoff careers, he lugs it ahead. Stripping him, Kaprizov. Outletting looking for Zuccarello. Broken up by the back-checking McKinnon. McCarron took a healthy run at him. McKinnon fights it in. Volstead out to his left. Stops it and leaves it for Faber. Both teams finishing a change. 6.5 to go in the second here in Game 1. It's 4-4. Hughes shakes away from Parker Kelly. Gains the red line and then frisbeed it way out of play.
And you're looking, we talked a little bit earlier about the fact that the Avalanche won the William Jennings Award for fewest goals against in the season with 197, and already they've given up 4 goals in this contest, and we're not even through the second period yet.
So they led the league in the regular season in goals scored, fewest goals allowed. They led the league in shots per game, wins when scoring first, save percentage, penalty kill percentage, goal differential. I mean, it was one heck of a year as the Avs here are offside. 6:10 to go in the second period.
And they're a good hockey. We're not taking anything away from them. We're just showing how the development of Minnesota has really helped this season also. Picking up Hughes was huge, and that's what everyone talks about right now. The fact that that's when the team really started to make that turnaround. And then, of course, at the trading deadline, Bill Guerin picks up some more players who give them a little bulk, a little size, a little experience, and which has really helped this team.
Kulak from center rolls it deep into the Wild zone. Volstead out, moved it quickly, right wing corner. Bogosian kept it coming. Tarasenko, nifty pass from McCarron. He just didn't handle it cleanly from the neutral zone. The Avalanche fire it back in, scurrying to a Bogosian. Reverses this time left wing side. 2 bodies from each team are in there. Hunt and McCarron for Minnesota. Puck comes up high, Burns leaked it along. Kulak a shot. And it deflected to the corner. Hunt hustles to it, swats a backhander ahead, didn't get much on it. It's turned over, Parker Kelly a shot. And that snapper's glove by Volstead will hang on.
Yeah, there's a moment there also for Hunt to realize what he did with that puck. He put it right back out where it wasn't a hard pass at all, and it was intercepted. And as a result of that, gave the Avs another opportunity to get a goal, but they didn't.
So Volstead there, top of his goal crease, square to the shooter, nice save, will hang on. Timeout on the ice. Our final break of the second period. It's 4-4 in Game 1 from Denver. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
To go here in period number 2. It's a 4-4 game. Minnesota with 17 shots, 28 shots by the Avalance, and right now the face-off deep in the Minnesota zone to the right of Jesper Volstead.
Danila Yurov got the only assist on the game-tying goal by Quinn Hughes, his first career Stanley Cup playoff point. McCarron wins the drawback. Spurgeon, right wing corner. Lost it because of the pressure of Landeskog, who tries to center up the short side. McCarron took it away, knifed it off the boards, kept in by Taves. Now centering pass for Nelson. Good stick by Tarasenko. Lifted it at the last moment as Nelson was trying to fire a one-timer. Avalanche come back over the line. McKinnon had his pass tipped. Tarasenko picks it up, chips it along. Taves back to gather. Wild finishing a change. Taves to McCarr. Through the neutral zone. Good gap there by Spurgeon. Spurgeon had the game-tying goal in Game 7 in Denver back in 2014. Nino Niederreiter then won it in overtime for the Wild. That goal by Spurgeon came in the dying moments of regulation. That was April 30th, 2014. Johansson at the red line left side, flips one in. I bet Tom Reed's got the box score here somewhere in Denver. Might be back at the hotel, but he's got it.
I'm looking.
Yurov kept the puck in. Boldy spun it down low. Johansson taps to Yurov. Danila Yurov tries to carve it back to Johansson. Hammered one back near the blue line, but that gets away from Faber, and it comes all the way in on Volstead, who shook it along to Brock Faber. Onto the tape of Marcus Johansson, carving it ahead. Hartman fresh off the bench. Used the ice beneath him at center, and then floats it along for Faber. Faber immediately activates, squeezes it along Kaprizov, dropped it to Boldy. Boldy right circle, fed it down low, and it's gloved by Wedgwood. Boy, could have shot the puck, didn't, and then sort of ran out of real estate with the Avalanche closing, just try to muscle it to the blue paint, Tom.
Yeah, just trying to get in there. You're absolutely right. And the thing, Minnesota now playing with a lot more confidence. And when you're down 3-0, you're thinking, oh, here we go. But you get that first goal, the second, the third, and then things start to fall into place for you. And that's what you're looking to do, obviously.
How about Boldy? 2 empty net goals to help salt away the Game 6 win Thursday night against Dallas. 11 playoff goals his last 12 games now. He had 33 shots in 6 games against the Stars in round 1. That led the NHL. Entering play today. Hartman and McKinnon on the draw. McKinnon muscled it back. Nathan McKinnon, in addition to being just an all-world player, he's still good in the circle as well, as he'll draw a penalty here for the Power play here for the Avalanche. He got hooked trying to streak through the Wild slot. And late in the second, a 4-4 game, Minnesota to the penalty box.
And that's not a bad penalty. That probably nullified a goal by Minnesota.
7, 2 minutes, hooking.
The problem is it's Faber.
So Faber, he's going to go to the box right now. Faber's won the box, but I think it would have been a sure goal had he not done something there. But he goes in the box. Now Minnesota's got to kill it off.
Brock Faber has taken all 3 penalties for the Wild. He had the cross check and the rough on the scrum with 12:24 played in the first. Now he goes off for hooking. Avalanche power play is 1 for 1.
They scored 16:01 at the time of the penalty.
They scored 2 goals against the Wild in the regular season series with the man advantage, both coming in one game. Spurgeon out of his right wing corner uses the middle of the ice to flick this puck all the way down. Scott Wedgwood down the butterfly, just pushes it to his right for McCarr. So no Brodin, of course, and now Faber in the box. So the penalty-killing defensemen are Spurgeon and Middleton. As falling down was McKinnon, and Nick Foligno, the loose puck, shovels a bouncer down again.
Yeah, not having Eriksson and Eck also on the front end on the penalty kill.
So McCarron, Nick Foligno, Middleton, and Spurgeon stay out as Nate just tries to dart along, hands it over the blue line to McCarr. Left side Landeskog was stripped, and McCarron bounces it through center. He'll race off to be replaced by Marcus Foligno. So the Foligno brothers out here for the time being on the PK. Still Middleton and Spurgeon on the back end. Landeskog, left one back at the point. It's turned over. It's going to be a break for Marcus Foligno. Short-handed. Foligno in. Made a move to his backhand. He scores! Marcus Foligno short-handed! And the Wild lead the second period. Have a 5-4 lead.
Oh, what a huge play also. What a blunder by the Avalanche also. And you look at the Foligno comes down on it. He's a left-handed shot. He's on the right side. He comes in, and he's got a stick handle. He gets close to him, and everyone's trying to catch up to him. You see the dark jerseys coming his way, but he would not be denied. He just made the final move and puts it away. With that, the Wild have taken the lead. Boy, they have stunned the crowd here. There's not much movement in those stands right now, but Minnesota has taken the lead 5-4. And this goal coming at 16 minutes, a shorthanded goal in 55 seconds.
3 unanswered for the Wild. It'll be unassisted.
An unassisted shorthanded
The drop
goal.
pass didn't connect. The Avalanche were flat-footed. Foligno kind of for a second was almost frozen and then said, hey, I can get to this loose puck. And he only had one of the fastest players in the world, Nathan McKinnon, breathing down his neck, but he had such a head start that even the speed of McKinnon couldn't catch him. And the Wild have the lead as Boldy now starts up ice. Power play for the Avalanche down to 35 seconds as Boldy bounces one along. Nico Sturm sends it in. Again, the Wild scored 2 shorthanded goals in the regular season against the Avalanche in 4 games. They get one here in game 1. Back is Nick Foligno to a loose puck. Try to chip it around. Malinsky gathers. Up high for Taves. Taves across the blue line. Dealt it back to Malinsky with the opening goal in this game. He'll play catch with Taves. Malinsky right side. Nichushkin a shot, hammered it wide. It'll be held in by Malinsky at the point. 5 to go in the power play. Malinsky left side. Middle of the ice to Taves. Right side Nichushkin. The big Russian takes a look. Nichushkin back to Taves. Has a lane. Took a shot. They score. Faber had jumped out of the box, but that double deflected in. And this game has been absolutely bonkers. It's 5-5.
Boy, it really has been 5-5 right now. And they look at that shot coming from the point. And Minnesota did a good job, and as you pointed out, Minnesota was just getting the man back on the ice. And he got on the stick side also. I don't think it had anything along the way there. But it's in the net. Letman was standing right there. Whether they hit the handle of the stick or not, I'm not sure. Wait for the official call on the goal, but...
Well, definitely hit McCarron. His stick was broken in 2, trying to get that shot block.
Yep.
So that certainly is at least a little deflating for the Wild. 18:04 the time of the goal, just 3 seconds after Faber's penalty expired. We're back to live action. Again, the Wild from right to left on your radio dial. Faber to Hughes, hounded, will spin to his left. Whips it back across the grain. Faber gallops to it, charges in. It gets checked by Parker Kelly. Kaprizov the loose puck. Up high, Zuccarello a shot. Blocked out in front. Logan O'Connor has it. O'Connor slicing a pass ahead. And no icing here. Back to try and tie it up as Kaprizov. It's tucked around the wild end wall. Hartman right side, wrapped up by O'Connor. Nice pass to Kaprizov, who shook around Jack Drury with Quinn Hughes. Here comes Kaprizov. He'll play it into the wheelhouse of Hughes. Right wing boards offensive zone. Hughes center. Zuccarello, a shot. Wedgwood the save. Hit him in the chest, bounced down in front, and Wedgwood jumped on top of it.
Yeah, it bounced right down in front of him, and the puck was just laying there, but none of the guys in the way could get to that puck. And as a result, finally the goaltender able to grab onto it, and that'll bring the face-off to his left.
17th save of the game for Wedgwood.
Yeah, this is an exciting game, certainly for the fans. Not so much for the coaches, but I can tell you this for the fans for the most part.
Taves, by the way, his second goal of the postseason. It'll go into the books as an even strength goal.
And Nikushin and also Malinsky will get the assist on that.
Play resumes. Avalanche back in their own zone. Here's Natchez with 2 assists in the opening round series. Native of Czechia dances into the wild zone outside the left circle. Flips it back up high. Taves a shot. And it's held by Volstead. Boy, the Avalanche. Look, Jared Bednar said it this morning, their head coach. He watched the Wild Stars series. Not that he was throwing Dallas under the bus, but basically said that stressing his team, they got to get to the inside more, something the Stars, even when they didn't get a lot of success with in round one. There have been bodies all around Jesper Volstead through 2 periods tonight. It's 5-5 with 50.2 seconds left in the period. Hartman won the draw back. Spurgeon right wing corner. Scales to center. Batting it out of midair was Taves. Now McKinnon pitchforking along. Middleton stole it. Darts up ice to Jake Middleton. With some help coming late, he'll find Hartman. Hartman a shot. Big rebound. Middleton's drive. It's stopped by Wedgwood. And he keeps it 5-5.
Yeah, nice play by Middleton. Also takes that pass, comes down, and you can see he's just going to go right for the net. Initial shot was right there. Middleton came in from the middle. I think he's trying to make up for that, atone for the mistake he made a little bit earlier when the Avalanche got a goal.
Good job by Hartman to throw that shot low, Tom, looking for the rebound off the right pad, which he got. 34.8 seconds left. Shots have evened up a bit now. At one point they were 24-12. Now they're 30-24 in favor of the Avalanche.
Yeah, Minnesota's won 60% of the draw so far in this hockey game. They were 50% at the end of the first period. Now Minnesota's at 60.
Off the face-off, Boldy left side. Fakes a centering pass, lobbed it up top for Hughes. Sprayed to the right point, Faber. Rims it around the net. Kaprizov gathers first on the scene. Centered Hartman, a shot in tight. Stopped by Wedgwood. Wedgwood's made a couple of big saves here in this 5-5 game. Boldy hounds this puck, steals right side center. Faber fanned on it. Didn't get much there. Wedgwood fought it off. Boldy trying to battle for the rebound. And the Avalanche knuckled along. McKinnon just drills at the center. 5 seconds to go in the period. Hustling back for Kaprizov. He'll take it through his own slot, bounce it along. Hartman jabs at it. And we are through 40 minutes in game one. 5-5 the score in Denver.
So Minnesota had 2 goals in the first period, 3 in the second. The Avs had 3 in the first and 2 in the second. They go to the locker room ready for.
As Hartman with that chance there that Wedgwood got a piece of it, and then Boldy centered Faber's drive. Guess he got better wood on it than I thought initially, and it was blocked by McCarr. It wasn't even facing the play, and it just went over the crossbar. All right, we're through 40 minutes in Denver, 5-5. We're hoping for Marcus Foligno outside the Wild dressing room, plus a Tom Reed's hotline. Get those questions into 64686. Back after this to Denver in a 5-5 game. You're listening to Wild.
I mean, just when you think it can't get any more bizarre, that first period was nuts. It got even crazier in the second period. Welcome to the Bob Kurtz Radio Center in St. Paul. 5-5 after 2 periods of play in Game 1 at Ball Arena, and it's been insanity. The two teams go toe-to-toe in that first period. While down 3-0 in this hockey game, they battle back within 1 with a pair of goals 62 seconds apart in that first period, while down 3-2 after 20 minutes of play. Go to the second period, and it's wide open once again. The shots and the goals just keep coming. And how about this? Marcus Foligno actually gives the Wild their first lead of the hockey game.
Landeskog, left one back at the point. It's turned over. It's going to be a break for Marcus Foligno. Short-handed. Foligno in. Made a move to his backhand. He scores! Marcus Foligno short-handed! And the Wild lead the second period. Have a 5-4 lead.
A shorty down 3-0 at one point. They battle all the way back, including goals by Vladimir Tarasenko and Quinn Hughes in that second period. Marcus Foligno with the shorty gives them their first lead of the hockey game. Unfortunately, 69 seconds later, it's short-lived.
It'll be held in by Malinsky at the point. 5 to go on the power play. Malinsky left side. Middle of the ice to Taves. Right side Nichushkin. The big Russian takes a look. Nichushkin back to Taves. Has a lane. Took a shot. They score. Faber had jumped out of the box, but that double deflected in. And this game has been absolutely bonkers. It's 5-5.
Probably went in off of McCarron. Regardless, 18:04 of the second. We're back to square one. The game is tied at 5-5 through 40 minutes of play. To talk about that and more, back to Ball Arena. Tom Reed is with the Moose.
Well, at the end of the second period, it's a 5-5 game, and downstairs right now is the guy who's helped make it a 5-5 game, Marcus Foligno, who scores single-handedly with no assists, a goal to make it 5 goals for Minnesota. I don't think this is kind of the script of this, the way this game was supposed to go, is it?
No, I think it's, I think we're doing a really good job of just adapting what's transpired. It wasn't a great first by us. I think we were a little bit slow, and I think you saw a team that was, it can benefit a team that's rested versus a hard series. But you know what? I love our team. I love our guys, and the way our mentality is was beautiful. There's a reason why it's 5-5 right now, and, I think they're a little bit more surprised. So, we feel great about our game. I honestly, we had a positive there in our shift where we had it all around the net, and, it ends up being a nice pass by them on a 2-on-1 where their D beats us up the ice. It's unfortunate, right? It's a positive turning into negative, and it's back. And then Vladdy gets us within one again, and we get a big one there. So I just like the way we're playing. This is playoff hockey. There's gonna be certain situations where you got to adapt, and the team that can do it the best in the series usually comes out on top.
And you have done that, especially when you're behind by 3-0 against the top team in the National Hockey League this year. I had to make you guys sit back and finally figure out here's what we have to do. All of a sudden you battle back here. Now we're 5 goals. It's almost like last shot wins.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's gonna be. They got a lot of firepower. So do we. It's 5-5. It is what it is. It's 0-0 for 20 minutes, maybe plus. But we got to get back to our 5-on-5 style. It's unfortunate that it's penalty kill did a really good job, and it goes off our stick and in. So this is what it is. We got to roll with the punches and make sure we can punch back when we can.
And just one more question: you have to win at least one game in this building. What better time to do it in that first game?
Absolutely. I think with the circumstances, us playing a hard series and the time off they had, this is a big game one for us. We know what's at it with every time you step on this ice in a game in a series, it's important. So you want to win them all, but we got to focus on what the task at hand, and we got 20 minutes to do a great job here.
Keep going. Thanks, Moose, for being with us.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
That's Marcus Foligno downstairs. Kevin, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Tom, and for Marcus Foligno with his shorthanded goal for joining us in the intermission. He'll get a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. 5 goals apiece. That's where we sit through 2 periods of play. 5-5 in game number 1. We'll break it all down with Tom Reed next. We got Tom Reed's hotline. You can join us by texting 64686, KFAN.com/watch. It's all on the table next. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
as Hughes, who scored twice in Game 6 against the Stars, has pulled the Wild even here in Denver.
One of 3 second-period goals by the Wild. Tarasenko, Hughes, and Marcus Foligno give the Wild some hope. More than just hope in game number 1, a chip and a chance. It's now 5-5 after 2 periods of play. Kevin Fallon's back in St. Paul from the Bob Kurtz Radio Center. Tom Reed is at Ball Arena, and he has Tom Reed's hotline. This is insanity, Tom. I know you just talked to Marcus Foligno about it, but, man, a lot of fun from a fan standpoint. I can't imagine how nail-biting this is for John Hines and Jared Bednar.
That's exactly right. There's a guy behind the bench going, what is happening here? But you know what? Give Minnesota a lot of credit. They have bounced back. We're down 3-0 to the team that won the President's Trophy as the top defensive team in the NHL. And they're also one of those teams that just keeps coming at you. But Minnesota has responded to the challenge after being down 3-0. And Marcus said it best. I think, the fact that we're playing well, we're playing within the structure of our hockey club. And I think as a result of that, right now Minnesota's got a pretty good chance coming into this third period.
Text us 64686. You can also leave a comment, kfn.com/watch. This one from the 218 area code. Tom, what do you think Bill Guerin's blood pressure is right now?
I think it's pretty common, to be honest with you. I mean, he's looking at this game. I think it was 3-0. It might have been up a little bit higher. But I think since that point that his team has really responded to the challenge given to them.
From the 641 area code says, had no idea the Dallas Stars were such a slow and heavy-hitting team until seeing this lightning-fast track meet. This is nuts. From the 320 area code, Tom, back in your playing days, were you as fast as Nathan McKinnon?
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. Yeah, if I was in my car going down 494, but the only way I'd be faster than him. Yeah, I mean he's a guy. I mean he just generates speed. I mean and his acceleration is tremendous. And you saw him trying to catch Foligno. He couldn't. Foligno had too much of a head start, and so Foligno buried that one, which is great for Marcus, and really has given, I think, his team, Marcus being one of the leaders of that hockey club, certainly has given his team a lot more joy, and I think opportunities coming into this third period, hopefully.
Isaac in small-town Minnesota would like to see Brock Faber stay out of the box. He's of more service to the Wild when he's not in the box making him kill penalties. What's going on with Brock Faber and his penalties tonight? Yeah,
but it's just one of those situations. You can't back down when someone challenges. You have to be at least there to meet the bell, and he certainly has done that. But Brock Faber has done a yeoman's job here. Certainly he and Quinn Hughes together have really solidified that blue line for Minnesota. And when you're without one of your top defensive defensemen, and that being, of course, Jules Eriksson Ek, I mean, somebody else has to pick up the pieces, and not just one person, but collectively with the other defensemen, and I think they've done that.
From Allen, Jesper Wallstedt has been so good through the first 6 games of this playoff run. Is he showing a little wear and tear here in Game 1 of this Round 2 series?
Well, I think you're a little bit jumpy in the first period, to be honest with you. When they got 3-0, it wasn't just on him also. I mean, Minnesota, you could sense that they were back on their heels a little bit. They just couldn't get on track. But then once they got going, I mean, they've got just as much speed, in my mind, as the opposition. Now, these are 2 well-balanced hockey clubs, and we knew this would be a very hard-fought series, and so far Game 1 is showing that.
All right, Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Reed in Denver with Tom Reed's hotline. Quickly, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
The best hockey lives
It's a 5-5 game as we start the third period in Denver. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. Wild from left to right on your radio dial. Avalanche from right to left. It's game one. Game two is on Tuesday night. Then an extremely long layoff. Game three in St. Paul, not until Saturday. We're underway in the third. Wild were down 3-0 in this game. Also trailed 4-3. At one point led 5-4 for just a few moments. Now it's 5-5. Hughes deep to retrieve a loose puck. Cuts around his own net away from the pressure of Natchez. Onto the take now of Faber. Faber steps over the offensive blue line. Right circle a shot. Went with a save. Faber got to his own rebound. Tried to center. And that was broken up.
Minnesota coming out with a good first shift, though, and that helps the bench also. Those guys on the bench are ready to get on the ice.
Natchez skied ahead. Hughes rips it right back out to the neutral zone. Devon Taves now for the Avalanche. Carved it ahead, tipped in by McKinnon, who goes off for a line change. Hughes back to pick it up. Quinn Hughes started out the right side, now tries the left wing boards. Minnesota swings it to the right wing side now for Faber. Launched along for Boldy, who's out with Johansson and Urov up front. Marcus Johansson takes a Boldy pass and chokes it in on his backhand. Kulak to the corner, wrapped up there by Johansson. Those two continue to battle. Spurgeon crept in, keeping Brock Nelson at bay. Nelson's pass found Malinsky, scooped along looking for Kulak. Partially tipped away by the Wild. Now Nichushkin finds Landeskog. Middleton slowing him down. Boldy back behind his own net. Two Wild players hit the deck. Rescuing the loose change right side, Urov. Didn't clear initially. Second effort muscled at the center. Johansson hits the red line and flips it in. Boldy stays out in the forecheck for a moment. Now all five Wild players go for a change. As Sam Malinsky back behind his own net for the Avalanche.
Fans are on the referees for a play that was a good play.
Malinsky content to sit back of his net again. Right wing pass, Blankenberg. Smacked it ahead. Wad tried to tip it in. Damon Hunt was right there. It's wristed up ice by the Wild. Out comes Wedgwood to move it away from the pressure of Trenyon. Wedgwood lost his goal stick. The Wild swoop it in front. Hurrying to it, Bogosian, a drive block. Bogosian jabbed it in front of the net. It bounces around. It's snuck up, not out by the Avs. Wedgwood will pick up his stick now as the Wild rim it around the boards. Trenyon and Blankenberg come together. Trenyon winning that battle momentarily. McCarron supported. Up high for Hunt. To the right side, Bogosian. Bogosian bounced it off the end wall. Boy, it nearly came right in the wheelhouse of McCarron. But at the outside of the cage again. And the Avalanche move it up ice for Ross Colton. Colton cutting right circle. Trying to come out in front. Got taken down. Loose puck, a shot. Blocked down in front. Tarasenko got in the lane on the chance by Logan O'Connor.
He's carrying the puck, he got hit, and he fell down, so they want a penalty for that.
Bogosian right side, swords it ahead. Marcus Foligno tipping that puck out of midair and into the Avalanche zone. He'll pressure Kulak to the corner. Sturm over to help out. 2 assists in the opening round series against the Stars for Sturm, and he started the series against Dallas in the press box as a healthy scratch.
And he's a birthday boy today, 31 years of age.
And as I mentioned earlier, won a Stanley Cup with the Avs in 2022 to Nico Sturm. Playing in the 13 postseason games. Logan O'Connor turned Hughes, cut out in front, and the active poke check of Volstead deflected that chance over the net. Marcus Foligno checked. It's turned over. Jack Drury trying to slide in front. Hit kick free. Taves a shot. Volstead the save with traffic all around. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, if Volstead able to see that puck coming in, he's got the eyes. He spotted that puck. He goes down and gets it in the upper body part. Holds on to it, and that'll keep the face off deep in the Minnesota zone.
Boy, that shot by Taves might have actually hit Parker Kelly and then kind of knocked down in front. Kelly was trying to jump. He was taking away the eyes of Volstead, but not much of a lane there because of it for Taves to get the shot through.
Face off deep in the Minnesota zone to the right of Volstead on the penalty box side.
Hartman and Landeskog on the face-off. Landeskog at 4 points and 14 hits in their sweep of the Kings. McKinnon off the draw. Snuck it along. McCarr's open. A shot. He scores. Right off the face-off, Cale Makar into the top shelf at 6'5", Colorado.
Well, this game is not over yet. We've seen Minnesota come back, and they'll do it again, I believe. And this one, this goal coming at 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Losing the draw in the defensive zone for Minnesota results in Makar getting that puck coming in from that right side, the defenseman. And they've got terrific defensemen who can put the puck in the net and make those points happen. And so the Avs are taking the lead here. That goal in 3 minutes, 21 seconds of the third.
The 2022 Conn Smythe winner is the league's playoff MVP, has just put the Avs back in front. We'll see if it remains his goal or if it was tipped on the way by.
Start by number 8,
Lehkonen offers one to center, stolen by Middleton, but trapped in the offensive zone, Hartman, so Middleton just has to bounce it back. Here is Kirill Kaprizov. Shifting right circle, deep in his own zone. Kaprizov feeds it off to Middleton. Both teams are changing on the fly. Right wing side now, Spurgeon. Notched it ahead. Yurov got a piece of it, no ice. Boldy pressures Malinsky. That created a bit of chaos for a moment. Avalanche swoop to the loose puck, clearing attempt. Hit Nelson up high. Boldy gets to it. Matt Boldy, right wing side offensive zone, taken down. Puck work to the point, Faber. Hustled it along for Hughes, from his skate to his stick blade. Hughes all the way to the right wing side, spins back away from Nichushkin. Hughes finding some space. Quinn Hughes, a shot to the back post. Kick save, Wedgwood. Avalanche pick it up. Yurov steals on the forecheck, right wing corner. Yurov from low to high. Faber takes a look, slashed it back along for Danila Yurov. Yurov up through the high slot, surveys, plays it back to Faber, left wing dasher. Brock Faber floats a rink wide pass to Hughes, tried to go back across to Faber, nothing there. Malinsky pops it through center and all the way down and dies short of ice.
Yeah, Minnesota not sitting back at all in this one, Joe. They want to get that next goal to tie up a game once again.
Still more than 15 minutes left in the third. The Wild trailing 6-5 in game one. Bogosian carries the Wild ahead, off to McCarron. McCarron laced it off the end wall. Trenyon gets to it, bothered by Burns, as well as Kadri. It's kept in by Hunt, a left point shot tipped and caught the glass. Ross Colton trying to clear out. McCarron keeps in. McCarron a long shot caught and held by Wedgwood.
Yeah, right now you can see Netminer's going to make sure he's going to hold on to that puck. He's not going to drop it if he sees any chance of a white jersey being around him. Face-off will stay in the Colorado zone. Shots right now 33-27 in favor of the Avalanche.
McCarron and Kadri on the face-off. Kadri won it back. It's lofted along. It's center ice. Nick Waugh flips in. Colton hounds Damon Hunt, again a Stanley Cup playoff debut. Hunt skates with it right side. Flexed it to center. Trenyon peels it back. Tarasenko crisscrossing with McCarron. The play barely onside. A pass by Tarasenko. Broken up. Trenyon scoops it back off the Avalanche end glass. Trenyon now won the foot race left wing corner. Got it up high. Middleton a shot. Pinballed around. A breakaway pass here for Kadri. Spurgeon trying to catch him. Nazem Kadri in right circle, a shot. He scores. 7 on the board in game one for the Avs. The shot block, the head-manning pass, and the Wild are back down by a pair.
Yeah, this one coming at 5:43 of the period. You're absolutely right, Joe. That block shot, and all of a sudden you can see Kadri coming down. He's on the right side. He's a left-handed shot, better shooting angle, but he gets Jesper Vols outside that blue paint area. It looked like he had it covered, but it got him on the glove side, and with that, the Avs have taken the two-goal lead here once again.
Spurgeon coming over the left shoulder of Kadri, trying to get through the slot and, make him shoot that puck, which he did, but he went short side. And the Avalanche have scored 7 times on 34 shots. Bouncing puck in the Wild zone, gathered by Bogosian, spiked ahead. Nick Foligno had some trouble with it. Now Marcus Foligno to the loose puck, right wing boards, carrying in the Avalanche zone. Slowed down for a moment. Marcus Foligno notched it around the end boards. Hunt pinched in. Back behind the net, Sturm and Drury come together. Now Nick Foligno keeps in for the Wild. Cycles behind the cage, cut off there by Drury. Slapped along right side, and it's drilled to center by Malinsky. Getting to it, Logan O'Connor. A shot rose and caught the glass. And it trickles back out to center. Heavy hit by Marcus Foligno there on Lehkonen. And Foligno goes off for a change. Makar up ice. Lehkonen watched by Faber. Faber takes over for Minnesota. Cut around his own net. Lost his footing. Gets back up and motors it to Hughes, who launches a long pass ahead. Zuccarello couldn't get a piece of it. Icing on the Wild.
Yeah, that would have been the faceoff back deep in the Minnesota zone right now. Just an errant pass. They just couldn't quite reach it there. Trying to headman that puck as best you can to get the speed so the player can skate into it and have that speed going in. And with 13:18 to go here, the Avs have a 2-goal lead. 7-5. Who would ever have thought they'd have many goals against these two teams?
I mean, you could have made a case that there wouldn't have been 12 combined goals in the first 2 or 3 games of this series, let alone still with 13 minutes left in the third here in game 1. Natchez hustles to a loose puck, dropped it off McKinnon, a shot, muscled it just wide. McCarr right point to Taves. Taves, a shot tip. Volstead made the save. McKinnon to the rebound, back of the net. Turned it over to Kaprizov, who left wing corner, skate the Wild ahead. Kirill Kaprizov lugging it through the neutral zone. Hit the offensive blue line, handed it back to Zuccarello. Found the trailer coming Hartman. Hartman right circle, a shot, he hit the iron.
Oh boy.
Left circle, excuse me. McKinnon the other way. Darts in. Fought past the check, McKinnon trying to weave it off for Lehkonen, was behind him. 12.5 minutes to go in the third. Wild down 2. Boy, that would have been huge had Hartman gotten his second of the night. Here's Hughes for Minnesota. Spinning back, freeing it up for Faber. Chipped ahead for a tip in by Urov. Out with his goal stick, Wedgwood. Played it to Burns. Burns hounded immediately by Boldy. Boldy comes up with his puck from the goal line. Boldy, a tough angle shot. Rolls off the glass and comes back out the center where Spurgeon and Nichushkin battle for it right by the Wild bench. Urov supported well, smacked it along but gave it away. Nichushkin down low, right side, it comes Lehkonen. Up high, Burns a drive, sticks Dave Volstead, rebound in a precarious spot. It's picked up by Boldy and skated along for Minnesota. Boldy chiseling it loose for Johansson. He lost it though at center. Lehkonen now for the Avs, finding a man. Waz got late help coming, right circle, a shot. Volstead, a big save there. He denied Kadri off the rush. Remember that stop if the Wild find success here tonight in game 1. Avalanche have won 9 of their last 11 series openers. Kadri walks back in. Spurgeon tied him up. The Wild all-time in game 1's 5-13. All 5 wins on the road. All 5 series wins in Wild history, starting as the road team as Tarasenko off the rush. A little wrister. Wedgwood catches it and hangs on, and we've got a timeout here in Denver. 11:17 to go in the third. Back and forth we go, but right now Colorado a 2-goal lead. It's 7-5 Avalanche. You're listening to Wild Hockey presented by Grand Casino.
Well, 11:17 to go here in period number 3. You look at Denver right now. You look at the Avalanche. Full building. They've got the lead by 2 goals, 7-5. And the faceoff is going to be deep in the Avalanche zone to the left of their netminder.
Hartman and Landeskog on the faceoff. Landeskog, the 3rd longest tenured captain in the NHL. Off the draw, the Wild control. Kaprizov threw one in front. What a save. Rebound. Hartman diving. Couldn't poke it home. Down Zuccarello. Bounce one off the basket. Wedgwood from a tough angle. Penalty call coming. And we've got a penalty on the Avalanche. Boy, for as much maligned as Wedgwood was earlier in this game, after the breakaway by Foligno shorthanded, he has come up big.
Yeah, he certainly has. Here's the call.
Colorado penalty number 92, 2 minutes for closing his hand on the puck.
Ooh, that's a hard one to call, but the referee was standing right there, and you can see that was Garrett Rank, the referee wearing number 7. And so Minnesota will go on the power play. This is an area that has to improve for Minnesota.
0 for 2 through 2 periods. First opportunity of the third. They absolutely need one here with 11:07 left. Being outshot 37-30, trailing game 1 7-5. Boldy again on the draw. We've seen him out here taking faceoffs for the top unit, replacing Joel Eriksson. Nelson on it for the Avalanche, draw on the right of Wedgwood. Boldy tied him up, kicked it back. Hughes across the blue line with some room. Fed it outside the left circle, Faber. Faber slices one to the right wing side. It's Kaprizov near the dot, firing one in front of tip just wide. Hughes will rescue at left point. Quinn Hughes across the offensive blue line. A pass to Kaprizov. Laid down low for Boldy, back to Kaprizov, hurries it to Hughes at center point. Giving back to Kaprizov outside the right circle. Now Boldy. They'll switch places, Matt Boldy. Feeding the point, Hughes takes a look, back to Boldy, a one-timer. What a save, Wedgwood. Flashed out, got it with his right arm and pad. And the Avalanche drill the rebound down.
Yeah, good setup by Minnesota to get that shot away by Kaprizov.
$1:20 to go on the power play. Hughes flips it back. Kaprizov carries it along. He'll give it to Boldy. Boldy shakes past in trouble right side. Boldy spins, angled it along. Tarasenko tips to the point. Hughes to Kaprizov. Right circle, offensive zone. Goal line pass to Boldy. Right back to Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov refeeds Boldy to the left of Wedgwood. It's hooked back along Kaprizov. Darts in, gave it behind the back to Boldy, top of the right circle. Boldy dangling along the boards. Power plays halfway home. Boldy reset, 3 attacks, took a shot of his block, came back to him. Down low looking for Kaprizov. It was tipped. Blankenberg got his, Kulak got his stick in that lane. Tarasenko now shoved off the puck, and Burns muscles it down.
Yeah, big play by Burns. Got the puck, gets it down the ice, and that gives his team a chance to get fresh players on the ice.
Up to mostly the second unit now as Johansson is out, so is Hartman. As Hughes carries it along left wing side offensive zone, shook past some trouble, found Tarasenko, his pass was blocked, and down it goes again. 25 to go on the power play, 9.5 minutes to go in the third. Picking up the puck from deep in his own zone, Marcus Johansson. He'll carry the man advantage ahead, nearly lost it, then got tripped up. No call. It's swooped around by Taves. Makar stashed it up, not out. Tarasenko keeps in. Slapped it down low for Hartman. Power play winding down. Hartman helps it up high. Tarasenko feeding Faber at center point. And what do we have here? A couple of penalties coming. As O'Connor and Hartman were battling away from the puck, we've got a holding of the stick and a roughing call. One to each party, it appears, with just 1 second left on the penalty, the initial call to Landeskog. Excuse me, it's Makar and Hartman.
Penalties on the play. Colorado number 8 is a 2-minute minor. 38 Minnesota has 2 minutes for holding.
Well, they will open things up a little bit, 4-on-4.
10:53, the time of the calls.
Yep.
Landeskog will jump out in 1 second. The Wild over at their bench real quick here with one of the referees as well. Draw looks like it'll be to the right of Wedgwood, so a 4-on-3 for 1 second for the Wild. Right?
Yeah, that's what it should be.
Now Brent Burns over to talk to referee Kyle Raymond. Avalanche have 4 players on the ice, and the Wild have 5. So I guess they just deem those coincidentals, and so it stays 5-on-4 for a second, and then Landeskog jumps out. Off the draw comes to Burns. Burns skies it ahead. Knocked down the neutral zone by Hughes, but Nichushkin forces him back into his own zone. Nichushkin jumped around Hughes, got the loose puck for a moment. Now Faber steals. Try to poke it ahead. Second effort. Marcus Johansson now off the Hughes. And a quick pass to Boldy. Boldy over the offensive blue line. Down Urov darting in right wing corner. Urov banked it to the point. The trailer. Faber a shot. Tipped by Johansson. Caught by Wedgwood.
Good pass and play by Minnesota. Again, they are not being intimidated by the opposition right now at all. They've done a nice job so far, and they get another 8 minutes and 42 seconds to tie up this game.
Timeout here, halfway through the third. The Avalanche broke a 5-5 tie here in this third period. They've got a 7-5 lead over the Wild in Game 1. 8:42 left. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Throughout tonight, the home team has won 21 times. The visitors have won 24. So that's kind of what Minnesota's looking at right now, trying to put some icing on the cake here, see if they can get a couple goals. They've got 8 minutes and 42 seconds to tie it up.
McCarron won the faceoff cleanly to the right point for Faber, who activates down low, stops now with McKinnon bearing in, and then try to jab one in front that tips off the end boards. McCarron, Boldy, and Kaprizov for the Wild. Boldy, a bit of a wraparound try. Faber followed it up with a shot. Wedgwood made the save. Faber and McKinnon tie each other up in the corner. It's lobbed loose by the Avalanche, and it leaks to center. So here's McCarron with Kaprizov and Boldy for Minnesota. Kaprizov takes a drop pass, races through center ice, stared down by a couple of Avalanche players. He gave it away. Natchez trying to skip his way past Hughes, nothing there. Lekkonen's drop feed hit McCarron, rattles loose for Spurgeon, who starts behind the net of Wallstedt and then plays it to Hughes. Hughes sneaks past some pressure, lugs it ahead. Hughes over the offensive blue line, try to weave it off for Tarasenko. He wasn't ready for it. Nick Waugh chipped it to center. Zuccarello pitches it back, and Spurgeon banks it along for Danila Yurov, who sends it off the glass and around the net of Wedgwood. Stabbing at it was Burns. He got it to center. Kadri took a healthy run then at Middleton. Kadri then ended up in a heap. Just a collision there after the check where he got entangled with Middleton, and icing now on the Avs. Left his feet there a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did.
Kadri. That should have been a charge.
He jumped. Yeah, face-off is going to stay deep in the Avalance zone right now to right of their netminder. Shots are 37-33 in favor of the home team, who also lead by 2.
Nick Foligno and Kadri on the draw. Nick Foligno guides it back. Faber through the high slot of Rister, and that's in the glove of Wedgwood.
You know, when you draw in the offensive zone helps also. Get at least one good shot to the net. Wedgwood grabs onto that one. That'll keep the face-off to his left.
7:28 left in the third.
Yeah. Avalanche make a wholesale player change on personnel right now. Minnesota staying with the same group.
Nick Foligno on the draw, this time with Zuccarello to his right and Tarasenko to his left. So John Hines putting the lines in a blender here. Face-off won by Minnesota. Faber kept in, got away from Parker Kelly, dances right, circle a shot. It clanged off a body and never got through. Hughes to the carom, hogtied, and Sam Malinsky picks up the loose puck. His pass deflected. Zuccarello lost it, though. Diving Kelly couldn't reach it. They go to the corner over the right shoulder of Wallstedt. Wondering if the Wild might be down a body as well, obviously, with the penalty there to Hartman. So as he sits, waiting for a whistle now at this point to be let out, he and Makar It'd be in part why John Hines had to juggle the lines. We're just down by 2 in the third. Tarasenko from the neutral zone flips in. 6:40 to go. Wedgwood left it behind his own net. Malinsky controls. Slices a pass perfectly for Nichushkin, who rumbles ahead. Nichushkin left circle. A shot just missed the far post. Volstead reacted late to that wrister by Val Nichushkin, who now spins away from Damon Hunt. Nichushkin out of the corner, came out with a shot, and Volstead hangs on.
And Nichushkin just walking out of the corner, not being contested at all, and with that gets the shot away, but Volstead able to grab onto that one. Nichushkin does a nice job of controlling the puck, putting it out in front of him where no one can get to it. And he goes in, brings it to the backhand to the forehand, gets the shot right into the netminder. These two teams will battle a couple more nights from now.
Volstead in the regular season against the Avalanche had a .932 save percentage. He played 3 of the 4 games against the Avs. His win came in the shootout. Also was in net here in this building for a shootout loss against Colorado. Damon Hunt pins up Nichushkin, comes away with the puck and works it free where Sturm batted ahead. Trenyon couldn't clear. Nichushkin serves it around the Wild cage. Time becoming a factor now. Less than 6 minutes left. The Wild need 2 to tie in Game 1. Game 2 is Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Central Time. Kulak through center. Lehkonen in the wheelhouse of McKinnon. Right side had it stripped free, and following it up, Natchez with a wrister blocker save by Volstead. The rebound paneled to center by Minnesota. 5.5 minutes left now. At center ice, Taves worked it ahead. McKinnon drops it. Makar a shot, tipped to the corner. Kaprizov blocked that bid, and Hughes off the glass safely ahead where Taves is back to gather, and off to Makar it goes. Makar cuts behind the net of Wedgwood. Nearly lost it, almost lost his footing. Now did give it away. It did, however, get just to center. As Boldy was trying to keep it in, couldn't. And off the steal, the Wild are offside.
Yeah, Minnesota right now just trying to press a little bit harder. They got good puck possession. Right now, the Avs don't need another goal. They just want to stay where they are. They don't want any more changes, but hopefully Minnesota can come back.
Final break of regulation, 5:08 left in the third. It's 7-5, the Avalanche leading Game 1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Minnesota is home to Wild Hockey and Wild.
Won 3 Stanley Cups, of course, since coming to Denver. Middleton skates to his left, fires one ahead, swept in by Johansson. 4.5 minutes to go. We'll see how aggressive John Hines wants to be with his team down 2. Quinn Hughes in the neutral zone to a loose puck. Force it to Johansson. Swatted back for Faber. Takes some time through the center ice area with the Wild finishing a change. Boldy, Zuccarello, and Kaprizov for Minnesota. Boldy tasked with playing center here, you'd imagine. Broken up rush by the Wild. They'll reset in the neutral zone, but time again. Certainly a talking point with just over 4 minutes left. Boldy in on side left wing wall. Squeezed it down low. O'Connor had it bounce away. They score! It deflected off O'Connor and in. Maybe Zuccarello as well. And the Wild get a favorable bounce with 3:59 to go. They're back within one.
Well, once again, the Minnesota doing a good job of making those passes, but bouncing it when it hit the cast marks, it looked like just jumped right there.
Boy, it hit Zuccarello,
yeah.
Not O'Connor.
Yep.
Hit his kneecap on his, let's see, was it the left? Yeah, the right shin pad of Zuccarello. It skied and knuckled over Wedgwood and somehow hit the back of the net.
Boy, we've got a game again, Joe. This one coming at 16 minutes and 1 second.
Well, now we'll see how aggressive John Hines wants to be. Remember, the Wild scored 6 goals in Game 1 against Dallas, which was their most ever in a postseason opening game.
I don't have any more room to write goals down. My sheet's full.
I've got 2 spots left. Hopefully it reads 8-7 in overtime, Minnesota. Ball set out with his goal stick to Spurgeon. Now McCarron knuckling it ahead. It tips in. No, it doesn't. They'll call it icing on the Wild. 3:46 to go. Shots all of a sudden are 39-37. Colorado. Avalanche leading 7-6. And so right now that goal by Kadri at 5:43 of the third is the difference maker.
Yeah, Zuccarello will pick up the goal. That'll be his second of the playoff year. Boldy as assist number 4, and Hughes another assist. That's number 8 for him.
7-6 the deficit in Game 1 for the Wild. Draw to the right of Wallstedt. Nelson and McCarron on it. It's guided back by McCarron. Left wing side, Johansson, a loose puck. Shovels it along Spurgeon. Ripped it off the right wing boards. McCarron tips in. McCarron and Kulak go to the corner. Kulak tries to staple him to the glass. Coming over to help out Johansson. Found Tarasenko. Open over the right shoulder of Wedgwood. Wallstedt looking at the bench here. Tarasenko tried to play it to the point and nobody home. And he's frustrated as he goes for a change. Wallstedt rips it up ice. Spurgeon sweeps it in. 3:15 to go in the third. Makar back behind his own net for the Avalanche. Looks to his right, just by that trapezoid-shaped area. He'll spike a long pass ahead, looking for Lehkonen, hog-tied by Hughes. Arturi Lehkonen to the trailer Natchez. Natchez couldn't get around Zuccarello cleanly. Now it's played to the point, Taves. Off to Makar. Makar walks in, fires, and he scores. That is the 5th goal by an Avalanche defenseman in this hockey game. And Makar might have just sealed the deal.
Yeah. 14 goals. Makar, who got injured in that first period, comes back.
Yep. And the Avalanche, Tom, have gone to that far post a lot in this game. And I'm no goaltending expert, but it looks like a few times that Wallstedt has been off his angle.
Yeah, a little bit off on that one. He certainly was. So now lots of decisions to be made by both coaches for that next
Wild
game.
used their timeout. So just after they got back within 1, moments later, the Avalanche are back in front by 2. 64 seconds later.
Yep.
So the Avs scored back in the first period 3 times in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Then the Wild scored twice in 62 seconds. Then the Avalanche went in front 4-2. About 2.5 minutes later, Tarasenko made it 4-3. Hughes tied it at 4-4, 12:43 of the second. Marcus Foligno put the Wild in front for the first time with a shorthanded, unassisted breakaway goal at 16:55 of the second. A minute and 9 seconds later, Taves tied it for the Avs. We went to the third, tied 5-5. Makar and Kadri separated by 2:22 to make it 7-5. Zuccarello at 16:01 made it 7-6. and 64 seconds later it becomes 8-6. Hopefully you wrote all that down. Not you, Tom, the listener. You were writing it down as well as it was happening here. And as you said, you're now out of room.
Yeah.
Volsted's at the hash marks. Kaprizov strip. Boldy follows it up. Boldy, bottom left circle. Set one in front. Kick save by Wedgwood. To the bench is Volsted for the extra attacker. Zuccarello looked to sneak it along for Boldy. Boldy was tripped up. Avalance trying to come up with his puck. It's a battle over the left shoulder of Wedgwood. 2:25 to go. Zuccarello keeps the line. Sprung it rink wide. Left side, Hughes, a spin move. Hughes through the high slot. Looking for a lane. Worked it to Faber. Top of the left circle, Brock Faber. Gives it back to Hughes. Snap back along for Faber. Faber refines Hughes. A one-touch pass broken up. McKinnon to the empty net. It's 9-6.
Well, we've seen that before. Last game in St. Paul, it was 2 empty net goals by Boldy, and McKinnon makes no mistake on this one. Also, a quick release on that wrist shot all the way down. This one coming at 17:52 of the third.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the most goals the Wild have allowed in a playoff game in franchise history. I don't have it in front of me. If it is, it's dubious. And if it's not, it's got to be close. Back to live action. Burns spins it ahead. So the Avalanche are going to take game 1 of this best of 7.
His third goal of the playoffs, assisted by number 62, Arturi Lehkonen. Time of the goal, 17 minutes, 52 seconds of the third period.
In 6 games against the Dallas Stars, the Wild gave up 15 total goals.
Wow.
Remember, at one point, the Stars went over 250 minutes without a 5-on-5 goal. A minute 15 to go. But down 3-0. If you told me earlier, hey, the Wild are going to lose game 1 as O'Connor streaks in. Logan O'Connor has shot. Volstead the save, and the rebound went just wide. Bogosian blew a tire. Blankenberg now, left point for the Avalanche. Spins it behind the net for Ross Colton to gather. Colton left circle, tried to fire a centering feed, then got a shot off. Volstead knocked it down with his glove. Bogosian off the boards, got it to the neutral zone. 40 seconds left. Again, down 3-0 in the first. Hey, all right, Wild lose this game, but to tie it, to take the lead at one point, to be tied after 40 minutes, and then to get within 1 just moments ago, I'm sure this Minnesota group will be frustrated, knowing didn't play near a good enough game, but also still had a puncher's chance late.
Yeah, offensively played a pretty solid game, but defensively is where they really struggled. There's no question. Now we have an icing call going against Colorado right now with 12.4 seconds remaining on the big board. The shots right now 42-36 in favor of the home team. And the faceoff will be deep in their zone to the left of Wedgwood.
Off the face-off, Avalanche dig it free and send it out through center. Puck dies short of icing. That's going to do it in game number 1.
Wow.
Avalanche win it. They remain undefeated in the postseason. They're 5-0. They win this hockey game with a late empty netter, 9-6 from Ball Arena.
Yeah, this is a tough one, no question about it. Minnesota came in and actually played very well until all of a sudden the wheels started to fall off, especially in that third period. But they battled back, and that's the important thing, I think, right now to look at when they go in that locker room. They're going to be disappointed because they had a chance, but they couldn't make it work in this one. But it's only game 1, and there's lots of room to move.
So Colorado takes the first one in his best of 7. For Minnesota, 6 different goal scorers, 3 points from Hughes for consecutive games in the playoffs.